Do you want to automate 90% of your work with AI? In this video, I'm going to show you 5 key AI automations that actually deliver. You're probably tired of hearing how these concepts might help you, but in this video, I'm going to show you step by step the high ROI systems that you can use to accelerate your business so that you don't get left behind. And these aren't just ideas, these are the exact high ROI systems that I use to build my own 7-figure AI business and help thousands of entrepreneurs just like you get measurable results. So I'm going to give you the step-by-step framework across these 5 verticals so you can get started. And beginning here, you may find yourself on the left, which is the 10%. Maybe you're using ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek. In this video, what I'm going to do is take you from the left and bring you over here to the promised land, to the right. And we're going to be using no-code tools like N8N and Make.com to build what we call AI automations to truly accelerate your business. And to show you in a cool graph, on the left, we've got AI. This is effectively what we're going to do in this video and how we roll. We have ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Claude. On the left, AI. On the right, we have no-code automation systems. And when you combine them together, that's truly how you accelerate. The sort of processes on the right enable us to connect anything to anything. Gmail, Google Sheets, Airtable, any application you could possibly imagine, scraping things off the internet, grabbing attachments, grabbing anything you can imagine. And on the left is the brain, is the artificial intelligence. And when we combine no-code automation with AI, we get something truly exceptional. So the very first vertical I want to start with here is manual data entry. We attack this because I found with businesses, this is usually when there's somebody at a computer pressing buttons, there's some time to be solved somewhere. It's the lowest ROI activity that exists within most businesses. And on top of that, it's prone to lots of errors. So we're going to build 3 automations together on this one. And I'm going to timestamp everything down below so you can go at your own leisure, come back when you fancy to complete this video and kind of crush your automation desires. So the first one is going to be an email to a CRM. We're going to set up our inbox. Anytime we get an email, we're going to create an AI agent. And that agent is going to look through the email and he's going to add onto a to-do list. He's going to check the to-do list we've already created in our CRM or Google Sheets. And if it thinks we need to add another one, we're going to do that. The next one we're going to do is going to be an auto invoicer. So basically when we're in our own CRM and we tick something to be, hey, process invoice, we're actually going to create something, a unique invoice for that client, and we can even send it to that client if we like. And then finally, we're going to do an AI meeting note taker. We're going to have a note taker that's going to join all of our meetings. We dial in, it joins us automatically, it listens to everything, and then it will export the transcript so we can do whatever we like to with that particular transcript. So if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. So for the first one that I'm going to build, guys, is email to CRM. I'm going to build that in N8N. So to do that, I'm going to head over to n8n.io, or if you've got a self-hosted version, you can do that as well. And when you create a new scenario, by the way, if you're new to N8N, I'm going to put a link on screen somewhere so you can get the basics and go through that step by step. But it should also make perfect sense to you, even if you're a beginner and you've never coded before, there's no need for coding experience with this. So the very first thing we do, since we are not savages, is we're going to name it. I'm going to call this one something like email to CRM. And then we're going to give this a beautiful little emoji here, and we'll give this a little fire emoji. Cool. All right. First thing we want to do is add a trigger. Every automation we build will have something that starts it. That could be an email. It could be an update to a CRM. It could be a WhatsApp message, Telegram message, whatever it is. And then we're going to have a defined output at the end of it. So very first step is going to be Gmail. And we just simply search for Gmail. We click on Gmail and we're going to say, hey, I want you to trigger the moment a message is received. If you haven't connected Google to N8N, I'll put a link down below how you can do that. It's very, very simple. Just follow it. I'll timestamp it and I'll show you how you connect those things together for you. But out of respect for time, I'm going to jump in with this one. So on the Gmail trigger, what we're basically going to do is click on this guy and you're going to connect and get your inbox, which is Ace. Now, effectively, I want you to remove this simplify thing here, guys, because we won't get all of the data that we actually need. And then click on fetch test event. And what that's going to do is go over to your inbox and grab the last email we got. Now, the last email I got is one I prepared earlier. And as you can see on the right-hand side, it was basically from WordPress talking about an upgrade, which is fine. Do we want to do an upgrade? I don't think we do actually, to be fair. But basically, we've got an email from Gmail, which is cool. I'm going to head over to Gmail and create a fictitious email asking it to do something on a to-do list. So let me jump over right now and do that. So here, guys, I've got an email that says, hey, due by Friday. Hey, Jack, it's Ben. Please complete the report by Friday for the Stevenson account. What I'm going to do is going to come down here and click on send. And then I come back over to my Gmail and I give this one a double click. And let's fetch a test event. And you can see there should be something about the Stevenson account due by Friday. There's a subject line, and there should be some text somewhere talking about the Stevenson account, which is exactly what we want. Cool. Beautiful. Right, the next thing we're gonna do, guys, is add in our AI agent. So to do that, we click on this button here, we click on Advanced AI, and then you click on AI agent. Beautiful. Now we wanna do two things. We wanna create a prompt, and we basically wanna explain to the AI what its job is. And then the second thing that we want to do is give it the information. So the first thing I'm gonna do is click on the source for prompt and click on define below. And essentially I wanna give it the key information. Now the key information is gonna be the date. In other words, what was the date of the email. The next thing is gonna be the subject. So what is the subject line? Who it's from, which is fine. And then effectively what we wanna do is come over here. Let's just get rid of this guy real quick. And essentially we're adding a text here, which is, hey Ben, please complete the Stevens report. Beautiful. Now the next thing we're gonna wanna do, guys, is add in the system message. Okay, beautiful, guys. And by the way, if it's gotten dark, it's because I had to jump off this recording to go record something, but I'm back now and I'm ready to complete this. So what do? We need to give it a system message. Now I find the best way to do this, guys, to be completely transparent with you, is to use a model to create the prompts. I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro, which has been blind tested to be the best one at the moment. And I'm gonna say, hey, I'll put a link down below for this as well if you like. Write me an AI agent system message, objective, add in basically to-do item, date and owner. Tools is going to be check the Google Sheets. And that's it basically. We'll receive an email, message, and also a subject line. Bam. Okay, now hopefully Gemini can work in the background and create something epic for us. What's really cool about Gemini is you can actually see the thinking of the model. Oftentimes when using these models, I find it helpful to test it with one and another one when you're using it directly, but this one should be absolutely fine. Now, whilst that's working in the background, I'm gonna come back over to our beautiful scenario. And what we're gonna do is come down to add option and click on system message. So essentially think of the system messages. This is the thing that its core instructions, and then the variable part is gonna be the prompt. So coming over to Gemini, here we go. I'm just gonna come over here. It's given us multiple options, which I think is fine. We don't need to go that detailed. I think this one will be okay. So we'll just copy this, come back over to our scenario, type in the system message. And also one thing I'd always recommend you add, guys, is just say, hey, the date is 2 curly brackets. Then we want $now, space 2 curly brackets, like that, and change it to expression. And that basically will tell the AI, hey, this is a date and time. And when it gets the message, it'll be fine. Cool, we come off this, we click off, and I think we're ready to go. Now the next thing we want to do is add in a chat model. Think of that like its brain, like its battery. We're gonna go for ChatGPT, and you need to create a credential. To do that, come down to create a new credential. Then guys, what I'd love for you to do is head over to platform.openai.com/API-keys. You'll see all these beautiful keys here. All you're gonna do is come down to create a new secret key, give it a name, hit create secret key, and guys, a long, complicated number is gonna pop up. I want you to copy that. And once you've copied that, come back over to the scenario and enter it here under the API key. Don't worry about organization ID, then click save, and then you will be connected. I'm gonna connect to one that I made earlier, which is gonna be OpenAI account 14. GPT-4 Mini is fine. As you can see, we're now here ready to rock and roll. Memory, don't worry about for this part of the video. We will come on to that later. It's basically its ability to remember what it's already told you. We'll use that as the chat functionality. Now, what we're gonna do is add, let's do this on Google Sheets, one I prepared earlier, but in essence, it could go to ClickUp, it could go to Slack, it could go to anything you could possibly imagine, WhatsApp, Telegram, your CRM of choice. I'm gonna do Google Sheets to keep this beautifully nice and simple. Google Sheets on the right-hand side. Now, I wanna give two tools here. The first one is gonna be its ability to read the thing, and the second one is its ability to create the thing. So the first one, I've come over, this is what I prepared earlier, guys, which is Google Sheet called To-Do List with loads of T's. What we wanna talk about, who it's gonna go to, or who's doing it and when's it happening, and add as many columns as you humanly like, right? Now, this is gonna blow your mind. I come back over, right? What do we do? Tool description set automatically. We want it to, automatically is fine. Sheet within document, that's fine. Get rows. Now, the operation I want it to do, guys, let's have a look. Let's say get rows, and then we pick the document. The document is quite simply to-do list, and the sheet is sheet 1. So you could have sheet 1 for one thing, sheet 2 for somebody else, whatever you want it to be, okay? And then once that's done, we click off. Now that is its ability to read all the stuff that's in there. Now check this out. I come down to another tool. I'm gonna do Google Sheets again. All right. This time though, instead of get rows, I want it to append row, which is its ability to create a new row in the sheet. And again, we just pick the list, which is going to be to-do list, and then sheet, which is going to be sheet 1. Now, check this out. You see it's got map each column automatically. Now, guys, check this out. The what, the who, and the when. The what, the who, and the when is pulled down all the columns. How freaking cool is that, right? I come back over, I'm gonna hit this magical AI button. And what this basically does, guys, is just lets the AI define what content we wanna put into each one of those 3 columns. And then we can come off and we're complete. And now the whole thing's ready to rock and roll. I click on the Gmail trigger. Let's have a look at what I've got here. This was all the information about, hey, it's Jack, it's Ben, please complete the report by Friday for the Stevenson account. I'm gonna pin this, which basically means, hey, N8N, what I want you to do is just hold the data for that so I don't have to keep on refiring the whole scenario. Then guys, if I just come down and click on test workflow, let's see this work in action. The agent's doing its magic, it's checking the model, it's appending the sheet, it's making some magic happen. And if I can just come over and check then what's happened, what do we see? Complete the report for the Stevenson account, who's doing it, Ben, and when is it getting done? Now, if I run this one again, it shouldn't actually add it to the list, right? Because we've already got it. So let's just test that as a quick for instance. We're gonna run this one through. It's using the model. It's appending the sheet, and is it adding something in? It is, cool. Well, this is great because this is the first time we get to actually test and troubleshoot. So I come back over, what I wanted to do, AI agent, in its instructions, we're gonna say, hey, okay, it wasn't very detailed, okay? You must first check to see if the to-do list item already exists. If it does, do nothing else. The who refers to the person who has the action to do. Sound really cool? All right, cool. So that we know was a little bit too short, we come off. Now if I come back over, guys, to this to-do list, and we've got one from Ben, that actually should be Jack. So I'm gonna run this twice very quickly, delete this, and we're gonna run this one first. So the first thing it should do is to read the sheet, and look at that, guys, immediately it has responded to our new prompt, and then it will add in to something here, which is great. So we'll see Jack, prepare the Stevens account by Friday. Beautiful. I come back over, I try this one more time, and we'll see how this works. It's reading it, and is it appending it? No, it hasn't. I double click. The to-do, complete the report for the Stevenson account for Jack Roberts was due on the 11th of April. It already exists. No new entry will be added. And there we go, guys. So you've officially just built your very first automation in this entire series. So what do we do now? We come back over and let's have a look, and don't get too far ahead of ourselves here, to the second one, which is going to be the auto invoicer. Now guys, we're going to build this one on make.com so you can learn both tools as we go and find the best one for the job as we go forward. So the first thing I want to do really is let's just use that same Google sheet that we had previously. So I come back over to here and then let's just change a few different fields, okay? So instead of who, let's add a couple to the right, and let's instead have something like insert one column above. That's fine. I know we don't want that. We really want to add a new row, don't we? So let's come down. Can we add a new row to the right? Allegedly, we can. Okay, cool. I'm going to say price. And then instead of when, I'm just going to change this to be something like invoice due. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not you're using Google Sheets. This could be anything you want to, but you'll actually see exactly how this is so cool. So the what is going to be the item that we're going to charge them for. Okay. Look at me. I'm getting like such a stickler for design here. Definitely not necessary. And then let's just make sure that's bold. Cool. Item. And then we'll call this one to client, price. So essentially you can have all of your different things here, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is, let's also just add in an address, shall we? I think that'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? Address. Cool. All right, sweet. And then we've got the price and then invoice due, yes or no. So what we can do, item. Let's just say first item is for AI automation consultancy. Cool. The client is gonna be Jack Roberts Incorporated. His address is 97 Magoo Lane, LN 778 Juliet uniform. The price for that is going to be a beautiful $10,000, and the invoice due is going to be, is the invoice due or not? Have we just said yes? That's absolutely fine. Now, if you want to calculate things like VAT, you can build logic like that into the sheet itself by adding the right thing and just add like a different formula. just to make that as easy as possible. So for instance, if it was VATable, I could have something like VAT price, and then we could add in a formula. And by the way, you can use AI to different formulas. So check this out. If I just screenshot this, guys, click this to clipboard and head over to Gemini, I can say, hey, write me a formula so that, which field was this? This is going to be E2, column E, equals the previous column multiplied by 1.2. Now, obviously, this is quite a simple one to do because, as you know, you come down, you know, equals the sum, open brackets, of this, close brackets, times 1.2, and it'll be $12,000. But I just want to show you, like, you can actually ask it to do anything you want to for any kind of creative or bonkers formula that you want, okay? So we've got that for VAT price. Really, really cool. So what do we do next, guys? Well, this is no longer a to-do list. This is now invoice tracker. And again, I'm using Sheets. Use this just for anything you want to. And since we're not savages, guys, we're going to use a beautiful bag of cash to get things checked. All right, cool. So let's head over to make.com now. Now, what's the first thing I want to do is I'm going to type in Google Sheets. Let's have a look here. Beautiful. And what we're going to look for now is watch new rows. So this is only going to trigger the second that we add a brand new row. So any rows that exist previously, we don't need to worry about it, okay? So search by path, my drive, I'm going to basically spreadsheet ID. Give this a second, and I think it's just going to be invoice tracker. Beautiful. Table contains headers. Yeah, sheet name is just going to be sheet 1, isn't it? Beautiful. Come down, limit is 2. We can put the limits how many we want to. Put it as 10, then click minus 18. No, 10 is going to be absolutely fine, which is cool. Since specific ID, and we'll just put all's fine actually. Come. So if I just run this one once, we should see the information, and look at this, guys. Price, VAT, bam, bam, bam. Now, what we want to do is create a template for our invoice. And there's many ways that we can do this. One of the simplest ways is to head over to Google Sheets. So I've got this thing here called Automation Planner. I'm going to change it. I'm going to call this instead something like Invoice Generator. Okay, and then we obviously want to have a cash sign at the beginning of it. So this is where you design your automation template. You can use AI to do this. Really cool. So let's just say this is invoice. Beautiful. Now, I'm just going to skip the bit where we make it look like an invoice, but I just want to show you the principle of it, okay? So you would design your whole invoice in here, okay? This would be our logo, okay? Really decent. So what do we want to do? We would then have the individual's name on the left-hand side, which is going to be client name. Beautiful. And all you're going to do, guys, is 2 brackets, insert client name, close brackets, all right? And then we're going to have date, right? Insert date. And you could, say have invoice due, come down, insert invoice due, right? You get the idea. This is how, and you can basically, by using these custom placeholder tags, customize anything you want to. So if I just said instead of invoice due, I could say amount due. And again, this could be our logo, which we beautifully have in the middle. Essentially, you can just drop it in. And effectively what you do is you build your dream invoice template that sits within Google Docs. And we have these different things here that will then basically change. So check this out. I call this invoice generator. Really cool. Now check this out. I come back over to our scenario, guys. And what I do, I go to Google Docs. Okay. I can put create a document. Actually, we want create a document from a template. So let's do Google Docs. Okay, let's have a quick look here. Create a document from a template. Come down, get a document ID. And this should just be invoice generator. Beautiful. And guys, check this out. This is really flipping cool. So if I just come down here, give us a second, insert client name. I can just come out here. It is Jack Robertson. Cool. Insert the date. And you can basically, and so we'll add some code to get insert date as well. So let's just figure that out real quick. And I believe we can use this code here. I'll put, again, I'll put this down below so you can just grab that. And all I did, by the way, guys, is I just checked, hey, what is the way to set that up in AI? And it just adds it in. And then we've got image URLs. Don't worry about that. We can customize it. We can get client images and bring that over. Title. Let's just check, actually. Are we specifying title somewhere? I don't think we are. It's not pulled up the amount due because I missed a thing on it. So I come back over. I'm going to come back off this. and then click on this again. And I think actually let's just refresh the information. Beautiful, give that a second. And I go insert invoice due. How much is due? It is $12 inclusive of VAT. Invoice generator body image 1, we don't need to worry about this. And again, this is just going to be the name. So it could just be basically the name of the business. And then we could have like the date, which will be this. Sounds pretty cool, right? And obviously, guys, just add all the information that you need. Beautiful. And then we can pick the document location. So again, this could be in a particular folder that we've got, and you can decide where that is. I am, for argument's sake, just going to put it in the main section at the moment. Then I can click on save. And then if you check, if I run the scenario once, this will show nothing because nothing's happened. So I come back over here. I'm just going to grab this information. I'm going to drop it down. You know what, guys? The price just went up. The price is now $15,000, and that's now 18. I come back over to the scenario. I click on run once. Google Sheet finds rows. Google Docs is now going to create a new document from that template, which is really flipping cool. Give that a second. And then we can see we will have the web view link, which we can copy and test out what that looks like. So let's just go do that real quick. And let's see, invoice, client name Jack Roberts, date is the 8th of April, and the amount due is $18,000. So you've successfully created this invoice. Now what we want to do is to turn it into a PDF, right? So how on earth do we do that? Well, first thing we want to do is go to pdf.co, which is going to be, let's see, convert into a PDF. Beautiful. Now, guys, if you've not got an account with pdf.co, you can very simply just head over to pdf.co, as you might have guessed, sign up, and then you get basically the ability to create like loads of PDFs for free, actually, as part of their free plan, and you can pay and upgrade if you're using a significant amount of them. Essentially, you'll find an API code that exists within there. You then grab that and just enter it into Make, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Cool. So we want to upload a file. Let's just see what the data is. I think what we're going to need here, guys, is import a file from URL. I think would be better. Let's click on URL, and let's just see it is the web view link. Let's see if this works. Output name. Again, let's just call it the same name that we had here, which is A Automation Consultancy with that file name. Beautiful. Document to PDF is exactly what we want. Export type is going to be download a file. Click OK. So I'm going to grab this information, come back over to make.com. I'm going to right click and run this module only, like so. And we'll call this one tester, like so. Click OK. And what this will now do is convert that document for us into a PDF. Unless it doesn't work, it can't download that file. That's completely okay. So what I think we're going to want to do instead is on link, we're going to add a new document here, which is going to be Google Docs. And we're going to put on download a document. Beautiful. All right, sweet. And then what's the document that we want to download? Well, we click on this guy, click on the document ID. Actually, excuse me. Yeah, we want, let's just give this a hot second to map. Click on this, and then can you see it's got that document ID there, guys? Just bring it over. That's cool. Then we're going to click OK. Then I connect these together. Click on this guy, and then what we can do, if we just give me a hot moment, you see how, bam, it's already identified that that's the thing that we need. We can just click on it, and that will automate for us automatically. Some beautiful, refreshing Coke Zero. It's a little bit too late for some coffees where I am at the moment. I'm in Dubai, by the way. That's why my whole background's like so different. I'm about to try and make some moves and get things ready for rock and roll. So the next thing we want to do is to create an email, right? So let's then click on this button here and add in Gmail. I'm gonna put here, send an email. So let's just do that real quick. Beautiful, who are we sending it to? Let's just first verify our connection one more time. So let's just click on here and add, and then sign in with Google. Beautiful, I think we're verified. If I come back off and then click on this guy, it's cool. So we now want to add in a recipient, but we don't have their email. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we're getting the client email. So come in here, we're going to insert one column to the left, and we'll call this one email. Okay, and we'll call this one, I don't know, Jack at AI Automations with Jack. I think it's by Jack, actually, by Jack.com. Beautiful. We copy that. Without a rock and roll. We come back over to the scenario now. Oh, no, wait, it is with Jack. Okay, cool. Let's just come down here and copy this beautiful, beautiful email address. Come back over to our scenario, and we'll just paste that in for the moment. Come back over here. The email address, we are going to map over to this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unlink. I'm going to come back over here. I am going to copy the whole row, come down here, paste it in, come back over to make, run this module once. It will now pull through an email under price. Maybe I need to change that a little bit. Oh well, bring that one over. Click over here. Let's just make sure we've got the right thing. No, we have got that right, actually. It is email. That's cool. Anyway, we come back over to the scenario. Click on send an email. And the email we want is, let's bring this over here so you can see. Okay, the email's not appeared, guys, and it's not appeared because essentially, if you add something in beforehand, you just need to duplicate the module sometimes. So look, come down here. This is cool. Let's have a look at the to recipient, and now the email address should magically appear. And where is it there? Beautiful. Then we've got the subject. It's going to be, let's just do the subject as their name, invoice. And then we can standardize it with the date in brackets, can't we? Where is the date? In fact, I'll just come over here and add that in from here because we've got some beautiful shortcode for that. Nice. Come back over to Gmail and then we'll post that in there. Ace. And then the content, guys, is going to, well, let's now create a brief thing in HTML. So if I come over to Gemini, I can say, hey, create me a simple HTML email. In fact, you know what? Rather than HTML, well, you could do that and you could add in your email signature and make it look really epic. But basically, if we just said, hey there, and then let's add in his first name, which is going to be, did we even add that name? Okay, so now we'd go back and we would add in the name, right? So there's the business. And you can see basically, as you go through this, you start to add in all this cool stuff, right? Okay, beautiful. Now we've got the name. But for the purposes of this, when you rerun this again, you just add in that name there. So I say, hey there, Jack, or hey there, please see the attached invoice for your reference. Best wishes, Jack. All right, and then attachments, add an attachment, got the file, we can just select the PDF. Obviously, you could just send the Google Docs, but we don't really need to do that. Come down, and then we can click on save. And then we should be able to run this entire automation from cradle to grave. Hit run once. So quick, for instance, Gmail's not happy for some reason. Let's figure out why. Needs me to verify again. I'll do my minutely verification. Okay, I come back over. I'm actually going to add some HTML in there, guys, like so. And let's click on show advanced settings. That's you can use HTML tags. You can indeed. That's beautiful. We click on save. Now, if we run this whole thing from top to bottom, we should get the beautiful situation. So we come down here, let's enter the new information, come back over to our mix scenario, click on run. By the way, guys, I'll put all the blueprints available for this down below in the community, so you can just come over, grab, and just auto-upload these and get started. Google Docs, we've created it, we've downloaded it. PDF code is now translating it into PDF. That one didn't work. Let's figure out why that didn't happen. Let's just click on that for a second. And this is a completely normal part of the entire process. Okay, is it because we didn't map? Yeah, we kind of just want the file to be there and get a URL link. Okay, cool. That makes perfect sense. Now we then want to click on import from a file. All right, cool. Now the world makes sense. Once again, cool. So we come back over. Let's just redo this whole thing. Come here and then run once. Okay, what information does it require? Let's give that a hot second. Yeah, I think that's cool, isn't it? We happy with that PDF code? All right, cool. Google Sheets finds the records. Now we are going to download and create the document from a template, which is cool, which is made very beautiful, very sexy. Then we're going to download that document, convert it with pdf.co, and then we're going to send a beautiful email to myself. So if I head over now, this should go from 45 to 46. With any luck, when this lands, I'm just come check in on the automation. Okay, we're still working on conversions, but you can see just by actually how you connect these modules together, the kinds of things that are actually possible. So you don't need to physically create these things anymore. So the Gmail module failed. Let's just figure out exactly why that happened. It's because we didn't pick a from email address. All right, cool. Let's now do that one more time. Okay, and this is also why we do all of these things. That's who it's from. Beautiful. So let's do this one final beautiful time. Bam. Okay, come back over. Then we can run this module once, get to row, create some document from a template, we'll download it, we'll convert it in pdf.co, then we'll send it, and then we'll be well on our way to kick some butt with this entire automation. And then guys, if I come over here, you can see we've got this. I can now click on the PDF for instance, and we should have the full PDF ready to rock and roll. Invoice, Jack, there's the automation date and the amount dues. Obviously, you customize this to however you want to, but fundamentally, that's how you've built an entire automation and got an automatic email invoice generator, which is flipping really cool. So now we've done that, I want to take a very quick look at the third one, which is an AI meeting note taker. Now, I've done a video on basically how you can get this. Now, the technology that I recommend that you use, just cutting straight to the chase for you guys, is going to be this one. So let me come over and get a brand new scenario up and running for you. This, to be honest with you guys, there's two softwares you can use. The one that I really like personally is fireflies.ai, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let's give this a hot second. Then one AI note taker for your meetings. Essentially what you do, it will join your meetings and give you full breakdowns of everything that everybody said, as well as the actions. So you can get started for free, check out the meeting, and that will then join everything. And if you want to take that a step further, one of the things that we can do, and I'll even show you actually how this works. If I come over to my beautiful school community real quick, and I come over to the classroom, and if I just search for fireflies, or just meet it, I think it's fireflies, like so. Beautiful AI meetings note taker. One thing you can do in the group is if I just come down and say, hey, 100x productivity meetings, ace, I can download this real quick. Click on download. Beautiful. Now, this won't be necessary for everybody, but we worked with a client recently that was spending 15 to 20 hours per week on calls with clients and wanting to be able to send an email back in his tone of voice. So Fireflies will give you the full transcript of the call. It'll give you all the actions. If you want to take that a step further, you can use this automation. Okay, cool. So if I come into a new scenario, what I can do is come down here, click on more, click on import blueprint, and then choose the file. I select the file that I just downloaded, click save, and then bam, the whole thing will populate for me automatically. So then what Fireflies will do is list all the transcripts that have happened within the last 24 hours. We then want to add in this iterator module, which will split out and pass out all of the sentences. So for example, let's see if I've had any meetings in the last 24 hours. The truth is, I have not, so nothing is appearing. But when it does, you then be able to iterate and separate out all the sentences, because you can see, you click on this, you basically come down then to sentences, select that. Then tools is just going to be a text aggregator. In other words, we kind of want to be able to pull out all the information about the speaker name in the text. So you just add the iterator module on those two things, and then actions. This one, we're just going to give it a very clear prompt. We'll say, hey, analyze it. Here are the things I want to know about. And then we can ask a checklist. So here I'd think about, is there anything that I want to know about the meeting that just happened that I can't get from a transcript? And then you can prompt AI in this scenario to say, look, I am looking, there are 10 things that must happen. Did these 10 things happen, yes or no? And then we can add that to a document, have that sent to you automatically. But 80% of what you need, guys, being very frank with you, is just going to be an AI meeting note taker that can join your calls and capture everything for you. If you want an alternative, you can use Fathom, but Fireflies has been excellent for me, and I wouldn't be without it. Beautiful, guys. Now, step 2 is going to be customer service, and we're going to begin with your knowledge base. So what I'm going to first of all show you is how we can scrape your data from every LinkedIn post that you've done. Maybe you have a YouTube channel, how we can grab all those videos, and also any website that you have. We're going to take all that text, and from that, we're going to run it through a very specific system that I'll show you on screen, which is right here. We're going to look at things like your vocab and word choice, grammatical patterns, punctuation, sentence structure, rhetorical devices, paragraph structure, tone and mood, coherence and cohesion, idiosyncrasies and quirks, and figurative language models. And once we have all of that data, we're then going to use that tone of voice, basically knowledge base, then tone of voice, to do various different things. We can do chatbots with it, we can create Instagram posts, but fundamentally, it's one of the core principles of using AI. Anybody can make AI content, but can they make it authentically sound like you? But to do that, we want to build a knowledge base. Now, once we have this knowledge base, we can do millions of things. We can link it to a chatbot. So for example, this chatbot could then know everything about your website and have meaningful conversations about it. So let's start off with the knowledge base, beginning with LinkedIn. Now, the easiest way to do LinkedIn is to hit this URL here, and I'll put a link down below in the description for you, which is linkedin.com/my preferences/d/download-my-data. And what we can do, guys, here is to download lots of stuff about your articles, anything that you've done. And what this will then do, guys, it gives it a full extract that we can then download. We request it, and then it should either just download it right here for us, or it will just send straight to your email. Then from that, we have all of your written text, and then we can give that to AI to actually understand how it is that you communicate. And when we know how you communicate, we can then get the AI to communicate just like you, which is really flipping cool. So this normally takes about 5 or so minutes to work. It can be slightly longer sometimes, but when that's complete, it will download. Just click the link down below and you get all the access for the next stage of the process. Beautiful. So that's LinkedIn. Then guys, how on earth do we do YouTube. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna head over to beautifulmake.com and we're gonna create a brand new scenario. Now guys, for this one, we're gonna do a couple of things. Basically, we're gonna get an RSS feed. RSS, just cutting straight to the chase, stands for really simple syndication. And basically what it enables us to do is track the information from any resource online ever. That could be somebody's Twitter account, somebody's YouTube account. When the word AI is written in the news, you could possibly imagine it, usually there's an RSS. So what we kind of want to do is head over to a YouTube channel. Let's say, for example, mine. You're gonna copy the URL from the homepage, you come over to RSS and you can create these absolutely free. I think if you're on the free plan, you can only do 3, but when you're paid, you can do 25, and it's really, really cool. So what we do is we enter in that beautiful topic, which is my channel, like so, for RSS generator, and then it will create a feed, and then we can use that in make.com to do many beautiful, wonderful things. So this is every single video that I've done, which is really, really cool. So what I kind of want to do, guys, is if I'm going to write scripts, which my team will do, say for short form content, we want it to sound like me. Like, what is it that makes Jack, right? So what I do is I click on save feed once you've done that, and then I'm gonna copy this, okay? Now, there's other things we can do, like we can say, hey, only pull things that are 7 days older or not, and lots of different things like that. But basically, guys, we come back over here, you're gonna type in RSS, like so, retrieve RSS feed items. Now check this out, guys. All I do is enter an URL, and we can say, hey, only from this date if we want to, but we kind of want to return lots of stuff, so I'll just say maximum return items is 100. Now check this out, guys. If I run this once, this will pull down every single video that I've done. Check this out, output. Look at these beautiful outputs. Last 50 that I've got on there. Look at this, how to build an AI voice agent. It does everything. How to scrape any social media platform for free. All this really, really cool stuff, okay? Now, that's cool. What we now want to do is actually scrape that information and scrape the transcripts. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. One of the quickest ways that I found, and we built something in my community specifically for this, if you go to the classroom, and I'll show you how you can do it without it as well, but if you go to level 4 here, you can come down here to YouTube Transcriber, and all you do is click on this custom module here, and it'll basically say, hey, do you want to download this custom transcriber, which is a unique app that you get when you level 4, you install it, and effectively what that will enable you to do in the scenario, which I'll show you right now, is if I come down, I just type in scrape transcript. Actually, I think we need to go to Ninja Armory. There you go, Ninja Armory, YouTube Transcriber. And we're just gonna say, hey, we're just gonna transcribe raw, which is fine. And all you would do in this one, guys, is enter in a video URL, right? So I've just grabbed a random URL and I'll just enter it in here and click on run. You'll see what this will do is go ahead and transcribe all of the text information. Come down, and that is the full transcript for everything that I said, which is really cool. Beautiful, guys. And if you'd like to build this yourself, you can do so by heading over to console.cloud.google.com/APIs. What you basically do is either select a project or create a brand new project, and then you go for YouTube, like so. You type in YouTube data API v3, and essentially what you're gonna do is try the API, and then you can chat with Google, chat with YouTube on this chat button here, explain to it what we'd like to do, which in this case is going to be grab your captions, and it'll give you 2 different pieces of code to run for your HTTP request that you can bring back over to the scenario. And once you get your API key, you can start to use those and download the tracks. But it's a lot simpler. That's why we built the module, because we thought it'd be a lot easier. So now we've done that, the next thing that we want to do once we've actually physically got the data, as you can see in this one here, is to simply use it on a Google Doc. So what I kind of want to do, guys, is I want to create a new document, and then I want to just add all that information into it. So look, if I head over then to drive.google.com, I create a new document. Beautiful. And I will call this one something like Jack YouTube info, actually transcript, right? And let's at the beginning, just give it something cool like a rocket emoji, because it's very cool. All right, sweet, that's decent. Now what I want to do is add all of our information into that. So if I come back over to our make scenario, I click on this guy here, and I'm gonna go for Google Docs. Beautiful. I'm gonna put on add a paragraph. Oops, no, we just want to type in paragraph. Insert a paragraph to a document, which is cool. And then click on the document ID. Do we have the document ID yet? We don't, but if I just type this in, there you go, Jack's YouTube transcript, and the appended text is just gonna be the transcript like that, and click on save. Beautiful. And then guys, all we do is we come down and we hit run once, and then essentially what will happen is RSS brings down all the information, all these 50 different videos, and then we start transcribing them one by one by one by one. So if I come over here, for example, look at this. Oh, this is one I did earlier with 70 different pages, but you can see right here, for example, there you go. How crazy is this? It just keeps on adding it, it goes down and down and down, and this is all of my video content. I could follow that keep if I don't like, which show maximum 15 words. Beautiful. Okay, sweet. This sounds, it is my stuff. It's crazy, right? So guys, that's how we're going to crush and do YouTube. So we've done LinkedIn, we've done YouTube. What is the next thing that we want to check out? Well, the next one we want to check out, guys, is going to be a website. Cool. So to do this one, we are going to head over to N8N. Beautiful. So let's sign in and create a new scenario. And of course, we're not crazy. So we're going to call this one a website scraper. Website scraper. Cool. So what we're going to use with this one, guys, is if I get my little guy in here, we are going to use Appify.com. Now, Appify.com, if I come over here to the beautiful, let me just duplicate this and bring it over, so you can have a look. All right, so Appify.com, what is it? It is the Willy Wonka's Emporium of scrapers. If you can imagine it, you can probably scrape it. So you can come down the left-hand side to the Appify store, and this is all the pre-built scrapers. We're actually going to be using the most popular one, which is a website scraper. So the idea is we have our website, we want to download all the pages to understand maybe our tone of voice, maybe you want to use this to download your knowledge base, whatever you possibly want. So I'm going to come here on the left-hand side to the website's content crawler, like so, which is cool. Now, Appify will give you 5 books completely free every single month. I'll put a link down below so you can get started with that. Or you can upgrade to $39 a month or whatever you want to. So what you're going to do here is enter in the URLs. This could be one URL or as many URLs as you actually like. I know we can set lots of different settings, like how many pages down would you like it to go? Well, this maximum number of session rotations, most of the default settings are fine. The most important one is the maximum crawling depth. That's really, really important. So now we've got that. What I want you to do, guys, is come over and click on JSON, okay? And you're gonna copy all of this code. Now, one of the best, easiest hacks you can use in N8N, and again, I'll put this template in the community if you do just wanna grab it, but just to show what it looks like when it's done properly, which is this module right here, it will look something like this. Request to make the thing work, then there'll be the request to download the data, and then we're gonna upload it to a document. So what I want you to do is head over to a language model of your choice, say for example, Claude, and then you say, hey, make a curl request for this Appify module in N8N. Here is the JSON, like so. And then we say, here is the name of the scraper. And then what we do, guys, come over to Appify, which is not this guy. Let me just remove this beautiful guy. And we copy here, which is Appify websites, content crawler. Come down here like so, hit enter. Now, curl request is like such a cheat code because basically what it means is in our N8N scenario, when we click on add a first step, we type in HTTP request. And then what we can do is import curl, excuse me. It's making me emotional. I'm getting so fired up about it. And then we come back over to Claude, and they've given us a curl command, which is great. We copy that, we come back over, and we just paste it in, and then bam, the whole thing will be there perfectly. Then what we need to do is give it our API token. So to do that, we are gonna head back over to Appify, we come over to settings, and then under API and integrations, you'll see your code, I believe. All you do is copy it. That's literally it, or create it if you've not got it. Then we're gonna come back over to our phenomenal scenario, and then you're gonna enter in your API key where it says value, right there, hit paste, and then click off the screen. So I've done that, and then we are going to hit play to see if this works. And it's worked. Now, how do we know it's working? If I come over to Appify, can you see on the bottom left, it's got this cool memory thing, which basically means, guys, that it's working, and it's actually currently scraping the entire website, which is ace. Then the next thing we want to do is send off a request to get and grab the information back. And just to save you the time, what I want you to do is click on this plus button, go HTTP one more time, again is get, and the URL, guys, just enter in this code, and what I will do is I will put it down below for you in the description so you can just physically get it. And it'll be HTTP request, not HTTP request 2. So let me just get rid of this. Beautiful. And if it's under expression and it's green, it means it knows that it's there and it's going to work for you. And the other thing we'll do is add a query parameter like so. And name is going to be token. And then here, guys, just paste in that, paste in your API token one more time. So I've done that. What I'm going to do is just pin this data real quick. Beautiful. And then if I come here and I click on play, what this should do is grab all the information. And remember, when we pin, we're just using that data. So if I double click into this and look at all this data on the right hand side, that is basically all the text from the entire thing, which is code for flipping cool. Right, now I'm gonna right click on this and I'm gonna click on pin. So there's only 17 pages on this website, which is cool. What I wanna do now is to add it to a Google document. So for that, I come here to the plus button, I type in Google Docs like so, and let's just put update a document. We'll give it a doc ID or URL. So let me just grab a random one here. Actually, I think we need to just pick one ourselves. So come over to my Google Docs. All right, so check this out. I'm on this YouTube transcript surf. Like if I come over and this is the thing that you want here, that would be your doc ID, okay? So you just copy that like so. Now you would have your own unique one for this, but just to show you how this works, if I come down, you ready? You get the ID of the doc that you want. I'm gonna come back over to N8N. I type that in, which is cool. And insert body is fine. And the text, guys, is just gonna be the text from the whole thing here, which is right here. And we bring that like so. Beautiful. Then what we can do is test the step and then it will start to execute. So let's see if this works. And just like that, guys, look at this. All of the entire website is now appearing for us automatically in a document. You can see 88 pages, 93 pages, 96, 98, so on and so on and so forth. And guys, that is essentially how you scrape everything on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and any website that you want to. And with that, we can pretty much do anything in the world that we would like, which I think is code for pretty cool flipping news. Decent. All right, now what do we do next? So if I come back over to our beautiful plan of action, we've got knowledge base. The next thing I want you to do now we've got that data is to create a tone of voice. So we are also going to do this in, I'm going to leave this one because I've already got a beautiful scenario prepared. We're going to build this one, guys, in N8N for your tone of voice flow. Now, just to show you briefly what that physically looks like. So if I come over to my school community, I want to show you a really cool example, right? So I think it's here. This is an example of what we want to do. So essentially, we want to give it the text and we want to break it down to multiple steps. So we're going to look at vocabulary and word choice. And this is an example for something I did for Hormozy. I got his book and I ran it through the system that I'm going to run it through with you right now. And it has different things there. Like, for example, use a mix of simple conversational words and more specialized business and marketing terminology. Use examples like stuff, best, neat. If I come down, and then we've got loads of stuff, right? We've got grammatical patterns. This is how he expresses himself. We have punctuation, sentence structure and length. Vary your sentence structures to maintain reader engagement. Use a mix of simple sentences, blah, 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 blah. Paragraph structure, tone and mood, overall coherence. And, you know, this is just like an example. What you're going to get is going to be way more detailed than this, but this is just to show you what's actually physically possible. So what we're going to do, if I head over to the beautiful N8N scenario right here, we're going to build this guy. All right. So we'll build this again step by step, and I'll show you, and I built it pre-built so you can actually physically use it. So the first thing I want to do is have our information, right? So we need to figure out which document we want to use. So I'm going to put on get a document like so. Now let's go ahead and grab the document that we were just using, okay, which is my YouTube transcript, okay? And I'm going to know this works well because it's me. It's how I speak. It's how I communicate. So if I come all the way down here, I wonder if it'll let me just remove all the data we just added to it. All right, I've just cut out this information from YouTube transcript. I'm gonna grab our document ID from remember, I'll just show you again one more time, just so you know how to do it. Come down here, we are grabbing this guy, bada bing, bada boom, up to the copy him. Beautiful, all right, sweet. So that's gone. We're gonna come back over to our N8N scenario, which is this one right here. Doc ID or URL, enter this one, test the step, and it should just bring down the document with all the text. Now, the reason I like N8N over make.com, and you'll see that we're using both technologies because I wouldn't have the skills to use both because they're different tools for different jobs. You can stretch either of them out to do anything. I just want to show you what I believe to be the easiest way for each version. So content, this is pulled down the content in N8N when you download, so in Make when you download it, you have to do some extra fudging basically to get the text. I just want to keep this super simple for you. So we've got the text, which is the entire 6 to 7 pages. All right, this is cool, right? Now what do I do next? We need to do something called edit the field. And there's a reason for that. So essentially, if you come down and enter a set module, okay, you're going to grab this thing over here and pull it over to the fields set. And essentially, we're going to give it a name. And what this means is when we use this later in the scenario, the module will always understand what thing we're referencing. So I'm going to say here, which is Jack's YouTube. Okay, beautiful. I love that, right? I test a step, it should be fine. and basically, okay, because I need to connect it. All right, so look, I'm going to pin this data because we don't need to rerun this every time. Now, effectively, what will happen is, guys, every time that we run the scenario, we will know that it's Jack's YouTube data. So then we're going to add a series of chat modules, okay? So the first one is going to be advanced AI, and I just want to click on OpenAI, and I want to click on message and assistant, okay? Cool, so we're going to pick our correct credential, of which I have 1,000, please don't judge me. And we come down, resource assistant, that's fine. No, we don't want to message an assistant, actually. Have I clicked on the wrong thing here? I have clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, we actually want advanced AI, and we want OpenAI, and we want to, let's just get rid of this guy down the bottom right. Message a model. Okay, cool. Select our correct credential, which is beautiful. Resources text from list. You can do anyone you want to, just to keep it really simple. GPT-4o is fine. All right, beautiful. And then we've got the prompt. So let's just execute the previous nodes to bring that information. There has been an error in our workflow, and I wonder why that is. Let's just have a quick check. Yeah, that should be absolutely fine. Oh, I know why. Okay. It's because, there you go. Now it'll work fine. Okay, you ready? If I click on this, then we're just going to execute previous nodes. Beautiful. All right, sweet. Now we need to give it a prompt. Now, these prompts, guys, I have over here. Let me just grab them, actually. I think it's segmentation prompt. So this stuff is how you break it down. Just to give you a quick TLDR of what that physically looks like in the scenario, right, is we've got vocab and word choice as a quick for instance, right? You click on that and you basically break it all down. So here I've said, look, analyze the text and create tone of voice guidelines for vocabulary and word choice. Provide detailed guideline explanation of each text element. It's imperative the guidelines read as instructions to a language model to emulate this style exactly. So I want the Chatbot to be, hey, when you're writing, write like this, write like this, write like this. So I don't want it to describe how I speak. Just say, hey, you need to use these kinds of bits of language. Feel free to include examples from written text of what good and bad looks like. That's a nice little hack, by the way. Get it to use examples so it can reference it. Keep the response 350 words maximum. That's so that your ultimate tone of voice guidelines doesn't become like a gigantic, crazy document, and then it starts to do various other different things. And then I just say, hey, analyze the given text of the following vocabulary and word choice, analyze the writer's use of unique, specialized, or repetitive words and phrases, identify the frequency and diversity of the writer's vocabulary, examine the use of jargon, slang, or colloquialisms, determine the writer's preference, simple or complex words, look for any distinctive or unusual word choices, of which I'm sure I have many. So, what do we do? In the section here, we're gonna click on this guy. We're just gonna give it this prompt, okay? Or whatever prompt that you want to. And again, you can work with ChatGPT to build your own. This is just stuff that I found building this for clients. I've had people come up to me and say, Jack, I sold your tone of voice automation for like 20K to this like dude. And I was like, dude, it really worked because he showed them the output in his own tone of voice. It freaking kicks ass. So what we want to do is we want to highlight JSON tone of voice. I'm just going to zoom out just so it's not overwhelming for you. Look at this. Then we're going to grab Jack's YouTube and bring it over. And the reason why we set it, guys, is can you see how the JSON for content is very simply content. Well, I had a bit of an issue with it last time I did it, but basically it kept referring back to the same thing. So now what this will do, if I click off this, right, and of course let's just rename it because of all the things we are, savages is not one of them. Now check this out. Vocab and word choice, right? Hit play. Now it's working in the background, which is code for good news. We'll give this a hot second, working in the background, and then we can see its whole breakdown for me on that. And then we do grammatical patterns, punctuation, sentence structure, rhetorical devices, paragraph structure, tone and mood, coherence, cohesion, all the way up to figurative language, which is really cool. So then I click on this guy and you can see vocab and word choice. Utilize informal conversational language that feels relatable and down to earth. Avoid overly formal or technical jargon. For example, use phrases like dude and bro as seen in text. I feel hurt, I feel seen, I feel like I'm being attacked right now. Words and phrases like unreasonable action, crush it, freaking awesome, and blow their minds should be employed to convey enthusiasm and urgency. Introduce colloquialisms and slang to maintain a casual approach and tone. Use expressions such as rock and roll and badass. You know, what can I say? It's absolutely nailed me that. So then what you would do is you would then just clone this guy. Can I clone him? I duplicate him. We don't like the word clone. We're going to think about our clones. And then we just copy over, and then you do the same thing with grammatical patterns, right? So maybe that is on here. grammatical patterns, or whatever your specific thing is, okay? So you basically you get all the prompts, all that sort of stuff, and you write it out. So in the grammatical patterns, for example, I click on this guy, so what we've got. Analyze this text, create tone of voice guidelines for, actually grammatical patterns, let's change this one. Cool. And then we have all this stuff here, right? Analyze grammatical patterns, identify the writer's use of specific grammatical structures, such as passive voice, complex tenses, particular parts of speech, analyze the writer's use. So basically, what you do is you break it all down, you get the verbiage and the beautiful information. So I am gonna, out of complete respect for your time, just you know how to do that and replicate them all the way through. And again, guys, just as a quick reminder on this stuff, when you come down, you see this has got a JSON tone of voice because that connects to what I named it here, which is JSON content. Is that right, actually? Yeah. Let me just make sure this is correct. Edit fields and set it. Yes, right. So we come down here, for example, you'll see, let me just run this one real quick and you'll see what I mean. I'm gonna delete this just to make sure it's running perfectly and properly. Test this workflow. Cool. Vocab and word choice, and then grammatical patterns. So you basically repeat that all the way through the system to make sure it hits everything that you need. And it's truly marvelous, actually, to see the breakdown of how you speak and what that looks like. All right, cool. So has this actually done it? No, it didn't provide it because we need to give it this beautiful text. So I come down and we want edit field, tone of voice. Cool. So then what you want to do is just make sure all of that is in every single scenario for you, okay? So you come down, check on this guy, is it there? No, it isn't. There you go, cool. And just go through every single one, and I'll just skip past this bit, but you get the idea. You basically just come down and complete like this. Beautiful, so I've completed that. The next thing I wanna do is to update a Google document. So let's just create a Jack's tone of voice document. Cool, and we'll call this one Jack tone of voice. Beautiful, and let's change the font to a veneer because we're not crazy. And then let's come back over to our thing. And of course, we need to grab our unique ID, which is this guy all the way here. Oh, let's not forget the one. We want to make sure that it works. All right, sweet. So come back over to our end scenario. There we go, cool. Doc ID is this one. And then text. So we can't do that until we run everything else. So I'm just gonna click off this and run the scenario once. And now it's working all the way through. And what I'm gonna do, guys, once it's done, is just pin the data for every single one of these things. You can, if you wish to, connect all these things together. If you want to automate the process of scraping a client's website, then creating a tone of voice for them, or scraping everyone's YouTube channels, you can connect these things together. They function like Lego. And obviously, like, part of me always feels when I make these videos that I could make them 10 hours long because there's so much cool stuff you can do with it. It's freaking, you're basically limited only by your imagination, which is what I love about this technology. It's so cool because I don't have like a technical background. I'm not a coder. What I do is I bring the ideas and connect things together and have a rock and roll and drink a lot of coffee, basically. That's basically what I do around here. Cool, so let this one run in the background. Beautiful, it is officially complete. Look at this stuff. So let's quickly just pin all of the data, come down and pin, which means that when we run it one more time, we don't need to run all these different modules again. You know, this might be the longest video I've ever done in terms of just like a full breakdown stuff, but it was one of my observations that obviously the potential of this is crazy, but so much, like, it's great to conceptually know like what's possible, but then it's like, okay, great. But then how do you actually do the stuff that works? And that's something I really want to pride this channel on. Everything we do here is the stuff that actually works, so you can have something that physically works at the end of the video. So I come down, I connect these guys together, I click on the update document guy, and what I should be able to do now is insert all of the information. So we've got the text, we're gonna make it an expression, and we're gonna go down and grab everything. So we've got this guy, beautiful. We're gonna come down here, we're gonna grab this guy. Cool. Then we come down to number 8, and basically you might get the idea of what we basically do now. We're just gonna come down and copy all the information over. Beautiful, and that's all done, guys. I mean, look at this stuff, dude. It's really crazy. Like, utilize casual and conversational language. Like, bro, hey, dude. This one here, use active words consistently. I emailed Gary Vaynerchuk. It's preferred over passive communications. That's true. Conversational and casual language. I love this stuff, dude. This is crazy. Beautiful, guys. And now this has successfully updated it. So let's check out what it looks like. Tone of voice guidelines for Jack's YouTube transcript. So, personification. When writing, occasionally use Personification to give life to non-human-like entities. Example, AI space. Dude, suggest that AI space is an entity one can converse with. All right, what else we got? Paragraph structure guidelines. Use predominantly short paragraphs for dynamic pacing and engagement. Insert medium-length paragraphs depending on the complexity. Rhetorical devices. When crafting sentences, primarily use active voice. Good. I started building websites and making money. Bad. Websites are being built. Metaphors and similes. This is really cool, actually. Avoid run-on sentences to maintain clarity and avoid reader fatigue. Repeat enthusiastic and informal expressions to maintain a conversational and engaging style. Key phrases should include. It's amazing. I love that. Thank you so much. Appreciation, excitement, as seen. It's amazing to have the podcast, bro. Dude, this is freaking crazy. So I now have 9 pages of what essentially is Jack's phenomenal way of speech, which is cool. So cool. Now we've scripted data. We've got your tone of voice. What is the next thing that we want to have a look at? So we've done that. Tone of voice is done. Now let's take a look at a chatbot. All right, sweet. So this is the chatbot we're going to build together. So let me come off this one. We've got website tone of voice. What we can do, let me delete this guy real quick. Actually, let me just save it for posterity. Beautiful. All right, and we come off this guy. And then let's just make sure that this one is saved. Beautiful. Right, now let's open a brand new scenario. Now the applications with this chatbot are in set. So what I want you to do, first of all, is come on this plus button here and type in chat trigger. Now, first thing I want to do is just get you to see if the chatbot works. So I come down here. We're going to use an agent for this, advanced AI agent. And the reason for that is I want him to be able to reach over and access his memory, either about the website that we have or maybe just anything we want to. And then we can give it tools and do various different things like send emails to the clients, bring them on, stuff like that. So just to get started, to keep it simple, chat model is we're going to go for OpenAI. Where are we at with OpenAI? Oh my goodness, ChatGPT maybe? Will that going to show up? Advanced OpenAI chat model, cool. Again, the correct test credentials to make sure we're rocking and rolling. That's cool. And let's just get the right model up. GPT-4 Mini is fine. You know what? Fine. We'll do GPT-4 Mini. I don't really mind. Now look, see this open chat thing at the bottom? Click on that. I can say, hey man, what is 60 plus this crazy number here? And it should come back and do a good job. Cool. Now, what we can do with this chatbot, guys, we can actually integrate it into your website and do various different things. So I'll show you how this works in principle. Also, what we could do instead of a chatbot, what we could do is add in any trigger you like. So for example, Telegram, right? Could sit over here. We could, if we wanted to, have WhatsApp. I've done videos on the channel before. I'll put a link somewhere on the screen so you can see how you connect to WhatsApp. So basically, all you do, you send a message to a WhatsApp chat, your agent does loads of cool stuff, and we'll send you a message back. So there's loads of really cool stuff that we can do on that front. But just to show you the core concept, we're going to do a chatbot, and then what we can also do with this, guys, you can see, is we can create a unique window. And with this window, if I come into settings, actually, I think it's a different part of the automation. But basically, what we can do with this guy is we can have a URL we give to somebody, and they can just simply chat with it, and we can embed it on a website, which is really flipping cool. Beautiful. So what I want to do now is show you how you create basically the knowledge base for your business. So to do that, we're going to start off with a Google Drive folder, okay? So I'm going to head over to drive.google.com. All right, and I've got this new folder called Business Knowledge, okay? So what I want to do is head over to our scenario. I'm going to create a new one here, okay? I'm typing Google Drive, all right? And I'm going to say, hey, we want when a file is created. So come down here, triggers. Let's have a look. On changes to a specific file, on changes involving a specific folder, which is cool. We'll just run every minute, that's cool. And folder, we're just going to type in business, like so. Business knowledge, cool. So what am I saying here? I want you to update whenever a file is created, right? Does that sound cool? We test it, there should be nothing that appears because no files have ever been in there. So what I want to do is basically download my tone of voice here. In fact, why don't we do a business scrape? Maybe that's a better way to do. So let me just grab one of those documents. All right, so I've got this thing here, right, which is video introduction checklist for maximum engagement, all right? So I put that in there. I'm just gonna download this real quick. Beautiful, and then I'm gonna upload it to this Google Drive here. I've just uploaded this one to the Google Drive, but from your perspective, what you're gonna do whenever you get a new piece of information about your business, you set up an automation and you just drop it in this Google folder, and then it will automatically become more intelligent with everything that you know. So then I come back over to our beautiful scenario here and I click on fetch a test event, it should now find it, and it has. Cool. So this is all the data from the article, my beautiful article on phenomenal introductions, right? Which is code for very, very cool. Now, the next thing we want to do is to simply download the file, right? So Google Drive, oops, click on this guy, and we'll download a file. Phenomenal. And the file from the list, let's just have a quick look. We want to kind of make it an expression, right? And by the ID, so let's find the ID from the left-hand side for what the file actually is. And I believe it's this ID right here. Actually, no, I don't think it is. That's the permissions one. So we're looking for the ID. There you go, this guy right here. Download it. Now click on test step and see if it pulls it through. And it does, so I can now download it, which is code for very cool flipping good news. Now, just to make this easier, I'm gonna insert a couple of, if I can actually just show you this now, actually. Where is it now? I think it's here I do this. Okay, yeah, but come over here. Let's have a note. So these notes are just gonna help us keep track of what's happening here. So I'm gonna call this one is gonna be the AI agent. I think I've got two little things to make it big. No, maybe not. Oh well, we'll come down here and let's just put him there. We know what it means. And then we'll do another one here, and this guy, we're gonna change the color to green. And this is gonna be the rag. All right, cool. You need a space. We knew there was a reason why. Okay, rag, that's decent. Ace, and I'm just gonna do that. You may call me crazy, but I just think the design's gotta be cool. All right, sweet, now rag. So what we wanna do next, guys, is to use a Pinecone vector database. So you're gonna click here to click on Pinecone, vector store, beautiful. And click on add documents to vector store. Beautiful. Now I want to head over to Pinecone. So you're gonna head over to pinecone.io and you can use this completely free of charge. Click on login. Pinecone, guys, think of it as the mystical bookshelf in which we can store millions of pieces of information and databases that we can then reach over and retrieve at our whim whenever we like. So you're gonna sign in or create an account at this stage. I'm gonna do this now with this account here. And by the way, if you see Arabic, it's because I'm in the UAE right now, living that UAE lifestyle. All right, cool, so we come over here. Let's have a look. All right, sweet, welcome to our project. So we're gonna go to let's go to our database. All right, beautiful. So you're gonna click on create index. The default's gonna be the name. So we're gonna call this one business. Okay, it must be all lowercase. We'll just call it business with 2 S's. I think that's really cool. Llama text embed, what do we want? Let's have a quick look. We want text embedding 3 small for this one's fine. Come down, that's fine, that's all fine. Click on create index, which is code for very cool flipping good news. And this will now be our database in which we can store all of your information as when it launches. Now, let's connect these together. Come back over to your workflow and insert documents, choose from list. Let's see if it pops up. Okay, so this is connected to a different account. I'll just show you how you can create a brand new credential. It needs an API key. So let's go over to Pinecone and let's find out where we get our API keys on the left-hand side and just create a new API key and copy the code. Beautiful, got mine here. And then we come back over to our scenario and enter in the API key. Cool, click on save and it should connect. Cool, which means we should now see business from a list. And do we see business? Excellent, cool. So this is how we do it. Freaking cool. Now, what's the next thing we need to do? A couple of things. Embedding. So in other words, what's the embedding system? So do you know how we choose the small model? That's exactly what we do here. So we're looking for OpenAI's embedding, which is here. Test credential, no, let's just make sure it's the same credentials as used for ChatGPT, which is cool. Text embedding 3 small, perfect. And then the document here, we click on this, and it's default data loader. And we want it to be binary because that's the format, and load all input data. It should be fine. Automatically detect the MIME type. That's also really cool. And then we need the text splitter. And for this one, yeah, we just go for recursive character text splitter. Now, chunk size is if we upload a document with like 1 billion letters in it, it's like, what I'm gonna do, Jack, is I'm gonna chunk it up like this, bam, 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 bam. And each 1,000 tokens or each 1,000 characters are going into a different file. This is saying, how big do you want the chunks to be? The smaller the chunks, the better. So it really depends on how distinct the data set is. I like 1,000 with 150 chunk overlap, which I think is really cool. And then we click off it. Now what we can do is simply test this workflow. So let me just test this one right here. Google Drive's created a file, downloaded it. It's working the Pinecone data store, default data loader. It's using the embeddings model. So now let's actually check out our Pinecone database, guys. Now, if this has worked, we should see a record in here. So let's just make sure that it's up and running and loading. Give that a hot second. And would you believe it, guys? We have it. Look at this. How crazy is this? Video checklist introduction for maximum engagement, blah, 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 all the way through. How freaking insane is that? So why don't we also just do now my tone of voice as well, so it knows exactly what I sound like. So let me just download that and upload it to the folder. All right, beautiful. I'm uploading the Jack tone of voice. Phenomenal. Then I'm going to come back over to our scenario right here, and we're going to test this workflow again and see if it downloads. Has it got the right information? Let's have a look. I certainly hope that it has. And so it should now technically, if we check on Pinecone, have Jack's tone of voice. And we'll know this if it actually recognizes it, and we'll see it in the third one. Okay. And then what we're going to do is have this chat with it. And do we see it there? Let's have a look. We have uploaded quite a few here, which is cool. And what's interesting here, guys, is it's actually uploaded many different ones. And the reason it's done that is because it's chunked it for us. So since it exceeded 1,000 characters, it's now uploaded multiple different ones, you see? And you see this score, this is actually lots of different numbers. And when we ask it a question, AI is going to turn that into a very long string of numbers. And each 1,000-word chunk, 1,000-character chunk has a set of numbers. And all the AI does is basically, think of it in like 29 million dimensions, aligns like what is the most similar. So if cat was a 7 and dog was 8, and you asked it a question like, how many pets do I have? It would be somewhere around 8, 7, or 8, because that's quite common. But if I asked it, how tall is Burj Khalifa? That might be 2,052, which is in the building section. So that's kind of like a really simplified way of how it works. So we've successfully got our data. This is so freaking cool. So what's the next thing we want to do? Well, we kind of want to give it the ability, first of all, let's just get our house in order. Oh my goodness. We want to give it the ability to reach into that Pinecone database and check to get the information so that we can actually make sure that everything works properly. So we're going to click on tools and we're going to go for vector store tool. Beautiful. All right, description of data. I don't think we need that one, right? We're going to bring him over here. Then we click on the vector store, and for that is going to be Pinecone, which is great. And we just pick it from the list, which for us should be business. Phenomenal. We like that. He comes down here, and then the embedding is the same one as before, which is going to be ChatGPT. Beautiful. Of course, let's just make sure we get the correct information. Where are we right now? Okay, OpenAI account 14, that's decent. And then need the model here. Again, we'll just use ChatGPT. Again, this is just the brain, so to speak. OpenAI is right over here. Yep, that's absolutely fine. Test credentials, man. Test 767 is really, it's becoming the public enemy #1. All right, sweet. And is this guy happy? He doesn't look very happy for some reason. Describe by date. So data name, yeah, data name is just going to be, yeah, so data name is going to be vector store, and I'll say, hey, all knowledge in vector database. And then limit is the total number of things it can grab. So if yours is particularly complex and you would expect it to grab 100, you can change this up. Usually somewhere between 4 and 10 is fine. I'm just going to say 3. Just do it based on the size of your data set and whether or not you think it would need to check multiple documents to find an answer. If it's like a single line question, then you would edge towards smaller. We don't need to give it 10 things when our database size is 10. But if it's something where it needs to reach over and grab so many different aspects, then you would increase the number. So 2 is going to be fine for our data set at the moment. And then what we're going to do with the AI agent is give it a very quick prompt. So come down here to system message, say, hey, helpful system. I'm just going to very quickly say, obviously you build this out, but check your vector database for information in answering questions. Beautiful. We freaking love that. And then we click off and we'll get to rock and roll. So let's now add a little bit of a note to make sure this looks decent. And of course, we'll just change the color because we can't have 2 yellow ones. We're going to guess one will be purple. Bring this guy over. Where are we right now? Okay, cool. And then guys, we should be able to ask it a question that would only really know if it could access the database, okay? Bam. Now let's check it out. I'll come down to chat, open chat. I could say something like, okay, what is a question that would only know? Okay, if I said like, okay, what is number 4 on the video introduction checklist, right? There's no possible way it would know that unless it knew this, okay? What is number 4 on the video creation checklist? Sound cool? All right, bam, let's enter it in. As you can see, AI agent is checking the vector store. Come down, check this out, guys. Item number 4 is urgency creation, 30 to 40 seconds. This section emphasizes the importance of learning AI no code. How flipping cool is that, guys? So you've basically now created a flipping cool chatbot that's going to be trained on all the knowledge. Again, that could have been in your entire website, whatever you wanted to, ready to rock and roll in one really cool location. Now, what we can do if we want to make this more publicly available is click on this guy and click on make chat publicly available. And now we've got a chat URL. So let's go enter that into a website. Okay, that's not loaded just yet. So let's just come back over. I think what we need to do is make the scenario active. That's absolutely cool. Click on OK, and then come back over to the hook and just refresh the page. Beautiful, so we've got this new thing. So why don't we ask it, what is number 3 on the video introduction checklist for maximum engagement, okay? Let's have a look. What is number 3 on the... So it comes back and tells us. Will it know the answer? And the time will tell. I've got a feeling it's going to know exactly what the answer is. Give that a hot second. One thing I'd encourage you to do, there you go, is the accessibility statement, which occurs 20 to 30 seconds. Is that true? It is. To make this work properly, you need to code the AI agent, tell it its use case, tell it all the data it has access to. If you get questions about this, check this. If you get questions about that, check that. And you can use AI to help build that. But if excuse me, I'm getting emotional about this. That's how cool this is. That's how you build and connect all this stuff together. Little top tip, by the way, is to add tags, because you can search for these in any turn. So I could say something like knowledge base and, you know, chatbot. And now when I search for that myself, my own dashboard, I will be able to see those. Beautiful. And then coming back to customer service, let's quickly now parlay all that stuff as an email responder. So I can come back over to the scenario, which is right over here. And how do I want to change that? Well, what I could do if I wanted to instead, and let me just download this just so you've got it. Download. We'll call this one simple chatbot rag. Beautiful. Okay, great. And actually, guys, just very quickly, the way that you can integrate this into your thing, if I come down here, right, chat URL, make publicly available, we can actually click on embedded chat. And then what you can do with this is copy the code. So if I just come down here, there you go, follow the instructions right there, open to the page. And essentially you can follow what happens here. You basically just embed this on your website with your own unique code, and then the chatbot will appear on your website ready to use. Just want to cover that, just make sure that you got all the details that you possibly might need. All right, cool. So same concept. Now we're going to do an email responder. So this one's going to be, we get an email and I want our chatbot to, basically create a draft response. So first step is going to be Gmail. Like so, beautiful, triggers on a message received. Let's get a fetch a test event. Let's hopefully it's nothing too controversial. All right, your LinkedIn data file archive fast is ready for download. All right, cool, that's good, right? Because we need to know that, that's decent. So let's see what we want to do. Well, what do I want it to do? I kind of just want it to have the AI with the brain. So to save a lot of time, and again, if you've already built this, the cool thing is you can repurpose it, right? So I'm actually just gonna grab all of this information and I'm going to come over here to our scenario. I'm going to paste it in. All right. So effectively, all we're doing is agent plus the ability to read your information. So for example, what we could do is whenever you get a Gmail, we could like turn that into text and add it automatically to your Google Drive, which means it's going to be trained on everything. Every email that you've ever gotten, and it will know exactly how you respond to things, okay? But this is just to show you a quick for instance. So what we're gonna do is leverage its knowledge. So we've got the AI agent, its ability to check different things. We're gonna give it a tool, and its tool is gonna be Gmail, consumer Gmail tool. So what we're gonna do is resource is going to be draft, operation is gonna be create. Actually, I wonder if, what is thread? Okay, I see what you're saying here. Okay, we're going to click on draft, operation is going to be create. Subject is going to be the same subject as the one that we got, which is going to be, let's just find out where that is on the left-hand side. Subject line, beautiful. Who is it going to go to is the question with the message. Okay, coming on to option, you can do to email. So in other words, who you want to send this to. So we are going to send this one to the person who sent us the email, which is there. Beautiful. And then the message, we are going to let AI define. And by clicking this beautiful AI button here, email type is going to be text. Cool, sweet. Decent. Now all we're going to say is we're going to say, hey, you'll receive an email. If I could spell today, wouldn't that be flipping really cool? You'll receive an email. I'm going to say, hey, your job is to determine whether or not it requires a response. Okay, and then essentially I'm going to say if it does, which is fine. Oh my goodness, requires a response. If it does, draft the email. If it doesn't, don't. And then it could also say something like use your knowledge base. And also guys, to answer the questions. And obviously if it's got access and training to all your stuff, what you could also do is say, hey, here are several examples of how I want you to respond tonally. This is what I need you to look like, blah, 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 blah. That sort of stuff. Now look, I'm gonna come off this. I'm gonna run this guy once. So come down here, I'm going to pin this data, which is like a nonsense data. Now it shouldn't really send anything off because the prompt is specified. Oops, okay, let's just make sure we specify the prompt, define that below. And that is going to be not the snippet. Actually, what we need to do, guys, is unpin this. And instead of simplify, just click on fetch test event. Okay, and then I'm gonna pin this. If you simplify it, basically you'll lose a lot of the information. So we kind of just want the full unadulterated text. And let me just make sure this is not messed anything up. That's fine. And let me just make sure the create a draft still, okay. Now this, what is the subject has changed. Let's just quickly just find out what that was. Okay, there you go. Isn't it really weird that the subject just changes? Okay, that's odd. And then the to email is going to be who sent it. Obviously, we've got the date as well, which is cool. So you want to get like the dates about what's happening, all that sort of stuff, and the from message. Cool. And obviously, you just add things in there, guys. Like if it's to a no reply, obviously don't create the draft. And that's just what he said. The email is a notification from LinkedIn, doesn't mean it requires a response. So let's just send something that would need a response. So I come over to my Gmail. Okay, guys. So I've clicked on this. Let's just say something like urgent, and let's ask it something that it would only know if it knew me. I'll say, hey, tell me about the tone of voice guidelines. Do you have any interesting observations? Best Ed. Boom. Then let's send this one off. Then I've clicked on test workflow. It's got the email. The agent's doing this job. It's checking the vector store, which is really cool. Pulling down information. Let's just make sure that we've got the right thing here. Okay, it's good, urgent, looking right. Now it's created a draft, so let's head back over and see what he said. And actually, guys, if I come over to the actual scenario itself, I've drafted a response to Ed's email regarding subject, tone, and voice. I do have some interesting observations regarding tone guidelines. Here are some key points. Active voice, it's recommended to use active constructions as they add clarity, engagement to metaphors, similes, complex ideas, and key concepts. And guys, it would only ever know that if it could access our database, which means now that your customer service teams will have access to draft emails responding to everything, and we can set up automations that automatically trains it on every single response in your entire thing. This stuff has the opportunity to completely revolutionize everything about your business. It is so freaking epic. And even now, I've opened up, hey there, Ed, I've got some stuff. So you can see how we've got those two dots. The reason it's done that is because we have not added in a certain formatting. So I come down here, what you want to do is add option, and you can also see, guys, okay, it's removed that, which is good, which is I like to do that. But if I come back over, what we would want to do, text email type is HTML, which now means that when it comes over, it will have the bold and it'll be formatted, and then we can add our own specific signatures, and the opportunities are truly flipping endless. Excellent. So we've now completed section 2. We've done knowledge base, tone of voice, chatbot, and email responder. The next one is going to be lead intelligence and your ability to auto qualify leads. So I'm going to save the scenario again because I want to make sure that all of this data is available for you. So this is going to be auto email responder. And we'll download this guy. Beautiful. So let's create a brand new scenario. All right, phenomenal. So for this one, guys, the way I want to think about this is we have here, okay, auto qualify leads. Let's say we have a lead magnet, or we have something where they fill out a form, and what I want to do is look at that information and say, dude, is this the kind of guy we want to work with? Is this the kind of guy we want on our team and our business? And then we're going to have an agent make those decisions, like a kind of a very simple, what do we think about it, based on our own requirements. And then based on that, we can either work with them, send an email, or do whatever we like. Now for the trigger, this would be whatever is on your website. It could be anything you could possibly imagine, Slack conversation, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever it is, right? So I'm going to kick off this one here, first of all, by naming it, which is going to be lead qualification. Okay, cool. All right, and obviously since a lead qualification, let's do something like a fire thing. Cool, so let's connect this to a form. So why don't we say something like, we could either do paper form, or we could do How about, in fact, let's do Typeform, okay? So let's build a very quick sample thing on Typeflow. No, it's not type that. Do typeform.com. That'd be cool. Bring them over here. All right, sweet. So the key with Typeform, guys, or any kind of these softwares is you want to kind of balance between the right number of questions to make it decent and also not making it so long people don't sign up. So in my first tech startup, I had roughly 3,000 customers every single month, and that was 10,000 at the top end and 3,000 finished it. So silly stuff like asking for their phone number. 10% of all drop-offs came off just from asking that question. So you can say stuff like, hey, what is your number, so that we can insert some kind of value for the customer, like so that we can confirm or so that we can do X. You know, but when you get those kind of numbers, it makes a big difference. But that's the kind of line that you're kind of treading between information and not. So one nice little thing that you can consider, guys, is actually, is this information that I really need right now? Like, I go cut as much as you possibly can. You can always get the data later. Can't tell you the number of forms that I just never completed because the requirements were insane. So make forms worth filling out. That's really cool. So what we're going to do is, first of all, just give it a load of random information. This is cool. All right, we create the account. That's cool. That's fine. Okay, decent. So let's create a form as a quick for instance. This could sit on your website. You can embed this into your website as a quick for instance. Let's create with AI. Qualified leads. That's fine. Company name is going to be, let's just call it Dubai Umbrellas. We sell umbrellas in 30K packages to hotels. That's it. All right. Absolutely outrageous business. But who knows? Maybe it's going to take off, guys. Maybe it's going to take off. I say this because like the weather I'm looking outside right now is insane in Dubai at the moment. Cool. Provide your contact information. That's cool. Are you a hotel in Dubai? Blah, 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 blah. Very, 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 very cool. All right, sweet. So we've done this. We're just going to click on publish, which is decent. Cool, it's published. And we've got the link. That's fine. So we can give people that link if we want to, or do various different things. Let's call this one Dubai Umbrellas. Dubai Umbrellas. Excellent. All right, cool. Now, what do we need to do? We need to link this up and get an API key, right? So let's come over to N8N. Right, cool. Typeform trigger. First of all, let's come down and create a new credential. So click on this guy. We are going to go to create a new credential. Access token is what we want. So let's go and find out where the access tokens are. It's usually in your account settings. Personal tokens. Excellent. Generate a new token. Then we give it a name like Dubai, and then all scopes and create a token. Cool, we'll pop up on screen. You're gonna copy that, and then you're gonna come back over to N8N and enter in your access token, and then click on save, and then it should now be able to find our beautiful form. Dubai Umbrellas has appeared, which is cool, and then we can test the step. Now it won't pull anything through because we haven't submitted it yet. So let's do that real quick. If I then come back to our workspaces, and let's get this stuff. So ultimately, what's the key stuff you want to know? You want to know their contact information, obviously, and you want to add as much value as you possibly can. 5 questions I found really good to ask him. Daniel Priestley's a really big advocate of this, and I think he's completely right with it, is basically, what is your dream goal? What is your biggest pain point that if I could snap my fingers, your life would be a million times better? And what stopped you from getting from where you are today to where you want to get to? Then you want to ask pricing questions. One might be, at which price point would this be so expensive that it would be prohibitive? And then at what price point would it be so low that you would begin to question the value? And when you gather that data, you can start to understand how you want to produce it. So I've got this link. I'm now going to enter it, and we're going to fill this out together with some fictitious information. So name is going to be Jane Smith. Cool. Enter a random number, random email address. Company is going to be Jack. Are you a hotel in Dubai? I am a hotel in Dubai. Are you looking to purchase a umbrella for your hotel? No, I'm not. How many umbrellas do you typically purchase in the package? Actually, let me come back up. Well, let's just answer this one honestly. How many umbrellas do you typically purchase? We'll just say less than 30K. Are you specifically? Yes, I am. Yes, that's cool. And I'm located in Dubai. Cool, then click submit. Then come over to our beautiful scenario. And you can see all that information, bam, has populated automatically. Then what I would want to do is you want to add in an AI agent. So advanced AI. By the way, small little detail, guys, is when you use an AI agent versus not, it's like if it's very specific, like if it's blue, if X then do Y, if Z then do A, then you would want to use a simple automation rather than an agent. But if it's variable, in other words, every single outcome is going to be completely different, you may lean towards using an agent for that in that case. So we've got the prompt message. So we are going to define that below. And essentially, we're just going to bring through all of the data. You don't need to bring down all this data, but I'll bring it in anyway, just so we've got it. In fact, no, we don't even need it. Let's just go for company. Are you hotel in Dubai? Purchase a hotel. That's cool. How many umbrellas will you use? Yeah, that's cool. Are you specifically interested in this? Is your business XYZ? Oops, let's come down here. And are you located in Dubai? Ace, decent, cool. So that's it. And then options, we are going to give it a system message. Hey, your helpful assistant. Qualify. Obviously, you'd build this prompt out a little bit, guys. Like qualify if this lead is appropriate for our business. We want them to have to be, and insert your requirements, right? I mean, you could probably, guys, you don't need an agent to do this. You could just simply say, if this is yes, then go forward. If this is yes, then go forward. And so it's just like a systematic, it's not going to be variable. The reason I'm using an agent is because I'm now going to use this to create a custom lead magnet afterwards. So say I want them to be a hotel in Dubai, and let's say spend over 30K on umbrellas. Okay, cool. Beautiful. And then we're going to come off here. We are going to pin this data real quick. And then I'm going to give a chat model to this. Open a chat model. That's cool. Beautiful. Get our right credentials. Excellent. Memory, no need for memory. We can test this workflow now. Oh, that was one key point as well. Okay, so check this out. What's he said? Based on measurement, the lead does not qualify as appropriate for your business. The key points are blah, blah, blah. So then what I could do is add a tool to this, which could be to update our Google Sheet. So if I come over and create a new Google Sheet, okay, right, and I just say, hey, name, business, qualified, yes or no, why, right? Very, very, very flipping simple. Obviously, just substitute this to be your information, whatever it is that you need. Maybe your own CRM of choice. Could be ClickUp, could be anything. No, we want the actual background to be this different color like that. Sweet. Okay, cool. And we'll call this one lead qualification. Beautiful. And then here, let me just bring these guys up. And then why don't we also have the date at the end? Cool. And obviously let's just make it a slightly different color just so it's nice and easy on the eyes. Beautiful. All right, cool. So let's come back over to our scenario. And then what we want to do is come over to tools. We are going to go for Google Sheets. Cool. And we want it to, so the operation is going to be append a row, which is to add or amend. From list is going to be lead qualification. The sheet is going to be sheet 1 as always. Cool, and then name. Now, some of the stuff we can just hard code. So for example, the name is going to be Jane, right? Jane Smith. Cool. Actually, add a space in there. My goodness, we're not crazy. Business is going to be this one here. Are they qualified? Yes or no? We'll let the AI say that. Why will the AI say that? And then we've got the date. And I think we should just put in this expression. There you go. Cool. So we know what the date is now. All right, sound cool. And then the AI agent will just say, for every lead, you must update the tracker. Cool, come off this. And then we can run this whole scenario once, see what this looks like. And then if we come over to the Google Sheets, what do we see? Lead does not qualify as intend to spend less than 30K, date added. There you go, bada bing, bada bum. And obviously what we would probably do, guys, is just add in their email address, right? We definitely want to do that because we get that data. There you go, email. So we just add an email, which is really cool. And we're going to need that for the next part of this automation. Insert one row to the left, and let's call this email. Now, like I say, if it's really to qualify, I wouldn't recommend you use an agent in this case. What I would recommend that you do instead is bring this over here, okay, is have this Google Sheet, okay, Google Sheets fact. Okay, and I would just add here append or amend a row in a sheet. I would hard code all that stuff in it. I would add a model here that says advanced AI, open AI right here, and click on where are we right now? It's going to be message a model. Okay, cool. The reason I would do this is because, can you see, AI agents are going to be right 98% of the time, but occasionally it can do something wrong, and it's really important that your business is always, crushing it. So what I would like to do here is basically dictate that every single one that comes in is absolutely, without question, going to get added to the Google Sheet, and we're adding different information in. That's what I would like to do and how I would run this one, just to make sure that these AI agents aren't going to fail. It's just like best practice to do it that way. But I built it this way because what I want to do is give you the ability now to create a custom lead magnet, okay? So what I'm now going to say is the following, which is going to be, look, if this is, now we can get really fancy with these custom lead magnets. We can call a sub-agent who is specialized in creating custom lead magnets, is what I would recommend if you really want to go deep into it. But one of the things that we could do is, like, if this is a good match, I would like you to create an email with a custom message. Use the below template and specify something unique where it says insert message. This should be 1 sentence maximum, and show that you have read their response. Sound cool? All right, sweet. So you can imagine, I'm just showing you what this would look like. We could turn this into a document. We could then turn that into a PDF. There's like a billion things that we can do with that, right? So what we could do, we could also say, by the way, I want you to create a custom action plan. In fact, let's do that. Let's say that I want you to create a custom action plan. All right, so something unique, action plan for the first 30 days. Okay, no more than 5 points. Cool. Now let's head over to Claude. I'm gonna say, hey, write me a beautiful welcome email to the company. Include a section that says insert message, and AI will insert a 30-day action plan there. Keep the email short. It is a client inbound lead capture. Beautiful. All right, sign that off. And obviously what we can do is get the HTML, we can get the images, we can get anything you could possibly imagine. Cool, I want it in HTML, designed well. Beautifully, Avena font. Okay, sweet. And if you want to go deeper on building custom lead magnets, I did an entire video that creates a document and turns that into PDF, so you can see exactly how that works. Cool, all right, sweet, this is good, right? So we come over to, we want the code, we copy all this code, come over to this. Now, here's the cool thing, right? What I'm gonna do is create a new tool. I'm gonna go for Gmail, and it's better practice to hard code where we can. So like if I say resource message, operation is going to be draft, create, subject is going to be, we'll let the model define what that is, or we could be really specific about it. Email type is text, now we want HTML. Click on this, bam, all right, now check this out. If I come on expression, actually guys, what I'm gonna do is let this be defined by the model, come back to the agent and say, hey, here's a HTML. Bam, come down, beautiful. Sweet, so let's do this one more time. What I'm gonna do is change the answer so that we'll actually draft an email. I'm gonna say more than 30K. So now what it should do is physically create a draft email. So I test the workflow, Platform Trigger is doing its work in the background, using AI, and then what we should get is a draft email plus the information updated into our situation. I didn't add email actually, I probably should have done that. It's not gonna work, I'll tell you why. Because what I didn't do in the draft email, I didn't actually add who it was to, did I? send replies to. Actually, it will work. It's just not gonna be there, right? So let's have a quick look. Why is that not pulling through? Oh, I see. It's not send replies to. Actually, what we want is option 2 email. There you go. On mapping, and then we want to send it to this email here. All right, cool. Now that should work properly. Okay, let's test this workflow one more time. Make sure that's okay. Come through. Okay, so that hasn't worked because the column names were updated after the setup, which is cool. So what we need to do is refresh this real quick, which is fine. And then we've got email. Let's come over to mapping, and the email should be there, right? Cool. So when you change it, you just need to do it one more time. So this should now physically update, and we should get an email in there too, right? Let's have a look. Cool. There we go. Right, they come back over to the scenario, ace, and then I can check on the emails. Now the emails can take a second to load up in draft, so I'm just checking what the agent's done. The lead is appropriate for our business as a hotel and at Dubai with an interest in spending over 30K on umbrellas. I have updated the track accordingly and drafted an email to Jack. If you need any modifications or have further instructions, let me know. Cool, let's just see if it's landed now in the inbox. And just like this, guys, we have now this welcome to our company. The Jack, thank you for reaching out to us. This is the blah, 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 blah. And obviously, guys, what we would do is we would just then obviously colorify this, make it look excellent, just kind of add a lot of flavor to it, and we can make it as specific as we would humanly like. But now we're getting unique information for that particular client, which is now is pretty flippin' epic. Now, if I wanted to take this one step further and really get a cool lead magnet, what I could do is delete all of these guys, like so, come down here, add this guy, go for AI, advanced AI. Let's go for OpenAI real quick. Let's go for message and model, and then give it the right credential. And then what I could basically say is, look, I could say, hey, based on these responses and the information about our business, create a unique document in HTML that looks amazing. We could say something like bespoke 10-step process for scaling their business to 10K per month. The below is an example outline. Use this and make it specific and unique for that business. All right, cool. Then let's go to Claude real quick and say, hey, a beautiful HTML one-pager containing 10 steps to scale your business to 10K per month. Use example data. I am looking for the design, and AI will fill in the data. Cool. Now we'll get this. This will then be something that we can then use, guys, actually to get it to create anything unique that we want to, right? So we'll get this information. It's very, very cool. We'll give this to the AI. We'll get it to create and just output and spit out something really epic for us. And that means that every client that joins our business can get a custom-made lead magnet. And obviously, the more time you put into prompts, the better the output's going to be. I'm just showing you this so you can actually get a full understanding of the kind of thing that it can do and just how epic it is. All right, beautiful. So we got this thing on the right, 10 steps to scale your business 10K a month, bada bing, bada boom. How cool is that? That's really cool, right? So we come over to the code. We are going to copy this. We are going to head over to our end-to-end scenario. And I'm going to say, use the below HTML, but specify, but make it unique, all right? But make it unique. You must output in HTML only, all right? Boom, come down. There you go, sweet. Model we'll just use for GPT. Maybe go somewhere big actually, but I think GPT-4 Turbo is gonna be fine. Actually, let's just use GPT-4 RAM. Okay, cool. That's the prompt. Actually, no, we want that to be the system message, right? Oh, I see. Okay, that's the user message, and then we want the assistant on below. Okay, cool. Beautiful. And then the prompt is going to be all this beautiful information here. All right, come down, bam, bam, bam. Oh, yeah. Cool. What I'm going to do, just so this actually physically works, without me need to do this, I'm coming back to Typeform. I'm just going to change some of this information. Tell me about your business. I spend more than 30K. Maybe something like, I am stuck at 2K a month. I have 3 clients. I don't know how to scale. I know I live in, I could actually say something like, I don't know, my business is based in London. I want client acquisition strategies. Just random nonsense data so we can work properly. And then look, if I run this whole workflow one more time real quick, we should get an output in HTML, which is cool. And to test that that looks exactly like I want it to, I'm just going to show you something really cool we can do. We can do to HTML viewer. There you go. It's called Code Beautify. I come down. OpenAI is going to do the magic in the background, and then we should get something completely unique. Cool, that's created it. And then what I want to do is go to pdf.co. I actually want a HTTP request module. That's decent. And we want to head over now to pdf.co. The beautiful pdf.co from earlier in the video. We're going to log in. Okay, give our email address. Beautiful. So guys, I've come over to ChatGPT. I said, hey, create me a call request for pdf.co. Obviously, make.com has got an integration, so it's a bit easier. We come down here, we enter that data in, which is cool. Then we just need to get our API key from pdf.co. Come down here, I copy it, I come back over, and let's just enter it in. Then we've got the HTML. We come over here to content and throw that guy in there. And then we click on test step. It's executing the node perfectly. I'm very impressed that that worked first time, actually. It's really cool how it does that. That's been executed successfully. It's given us URL, so let's just check it out. And guys, look at this. Wow, 10 steps to create unique solutions, 10K a month, create a tailored path to elevate your business, maximize growth, identify hidden opportunities. Let's just see what it says. Let's have a look. Revelation price track, explore dynamic pricing, create products to consistent demand over time, affect things. Wow. This is really freaking cool. And then here we've got a link, right? So one of the things I want it to do actually, guys, is to say something specific. So under this, I'm gonna say, actually, I'm just open this guy up real quick. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say, look, you must reference the business's name and tailor the responses in the PDF to the business. Talk about their first name and their company name. First name, and then we'll give it as Jane Smith. Cool. And then company name is going to be this guy, which is Jack, right? We probably, to be fair, very cool name. Bam, right? Now let's run this scenario again one more time, test the whole workflow. Then we've got that. What we can do is add that to an email, send it to them directly, and then mine is going to be what is known as completely blown out of the planet, which is really cool. I mean, like, the fact that you can get these custom lead magnets is ace. One of the things I'd encourage you to do is add a delay, time delay, so that it looks like you've actually built it. So we could do that over a day. We could create it as a draft, and then you just go in every day and just say, yep, that's cool, that's decent, that's fine. And then you just send it off as and when you're happy with it, just to make sure that it doesn't look like it's automated. It's about creating the impression that a lot of effort and time has gone into it. So here's the URL. Let's try one more time. Beautiful. So let's download this. Look at this, guys. 10 steps to scale Jack to 10K a month. Jane Smith brings you a tailored roadmap to elevate blah, 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 blah. Pinpoint your unique niche. Jane, focus on the specific needs of Jack's ideal customer. Deep dive into market research. Develop a plan. And guys, it's completely, obviously some of the stuff is gobbledygook because I gave it gobbledygook strategies. But guys, this is exactly what we designed in Claude. This is freaking crazy. Get your personalized plan, bam. We need to remove this. I can do that by adding a simple prompt into the system, which basically would be basically what we would say is your output must end and begin with this, okay? Which I'll add in now because I'm giving you a template for this. So your outputs must begin with, yeah. That basically means we won't get these little dots and end with. Let's have a quick look at the bottom. Yes, with that. Cool, beautiful. Guys, so you just don't know how to create a beautiful, phenomenal lead magnet. So what I'm going to do is download this lead magnet here as well. So we've got that one ready to rock and roll. Exceptional. Now we're doing lead intelligence. The next thing we're going to look at, guys, is going to be customer growth. Starting with two very simple automations. One is going to be RSS to LinkedIn posts, and the other one is going to be how you can batch create 50, 60, 70 Canva posts at exactly the same time. Awesome. So this one we're going to do in Make. So we're going to start off with the beautiful RSS. Let's head over to rss.feeds and let's generate something. Let's do something on something like, I don't know. Let's say we want to do something on Tesla, as if, for instance, maybe we're like an electric car company or something. Basically pick the word or the keyword that you want, and then RSS is going to create an application for us, which is really, really flipping cool. All right, cool. Muscles, Trump advisor, a moron, and quarrel over text. Let's just say we want to be TeslaNews.com, right? Enter the keywords. You also do Twitter feeds as well, by the way. If you want to do Sam Altman Direct or something, whatever you want. Click on Save to Feeds. Ace, copy this, come back over to our Make scenario. We're going to come down here, watch for RSS feed items. That's cool. Or retrieve. Retrieve grabs everything that's happened, and a watch for RSS feed items is everything that's coming in the future from this point. Since we're recording it, I'm just going to go ahead and retrieve, okay? And I just say I want to retrieve the last 5 as a quick, for instance. I'm going to run this module once. Beautiful. It's got all the stuff. Now what I want to do is download the data. So I come here, I do HTTP. Beautiful. Get a file. And all I do is just download it. And I do that by clicking in the URL, like so. Then I click on run once, and then we should get the entire article, which is really cool. In fact, we've got all 5 articles, right? And all of the data. But this data is in HTML, so we want to convert that. So what do? We do HTML to text, which is there. The beautiful Queen's English. We come over, we select the HTML, which in this case is going to be, where is it right now? It's just simply the data output from there. That's fine. And then we can get all the information. Then what I want it to do is get a ChatGPT module. Again, this is just something really simple. So I could do something like create a completion. Let's give it one of the more powerful models this time, I think. So let's go for, let's have a look. Yeah, GPT 4.5, why not? It's a bit more expensive than tokens, but that's fine. Maximum token completions, if you put 0, it will default to the max, which is what we like. And then add message. Role is going to be user. And then the text content is just a text from a text parser. And then what I want to do as well is add a new one in there, which is going to be the assistant. Okay, so I'm going to say, look, I would like you to create an insightful LinkedIn post based on the below framework and my tone of voice, okay? The framework. And then here's just going to be all the best practices. So what I did in my school community is I basically found what all the best practices were for going viral on LinkedIn. If you come to the classroom, I think it's under every AI automation. And then on the left-hand side, if I scroll down, I should see it under LinkedIn, which is cool. And this is a good example. Let's have a look here, and a LinkedIn agent. So let's just grab all of the data from this. And what we've done here is obviously pumped it full of loads of cool stuff, like examples of how we want it to look. We come back over here, and here's the framework. And then I'm going to say, hey, oops, my tone of voice. And then let's just grab my tone of voice real quick. Now, the tone of voice I'm using here, guys, is my spoken tone of voice, not my written tone of voice. So it's not going to be exactly the same because we write and speak differently. So if you're going to use this, I would actually use your LinkedIn download post just to make sure it's accurate, and that's the data that I'd encourage you to do. In fact, that's actually what I'm going to go ahead and grab. Okay, beautiful. So we'll call this one LinkedIn post. Now guys, what you could do is post this directly to LinkedIn, or you could add it to an Airtable or a Google Sheet for you to approve, effectively whatever you would like it to do. So for this instance, let's run this module once. I'm just going to set this down to 1 item just so we can see what that looks like. Let's click run once. All right, beautiful. It's now turning that into a LinkedIn post. It's just a very easy, simple, crisp way to get that with your particular insights. We can obviously feed it a billion different things, but it's just a very easy, simple, quick automation to get started and making some absolute magic happen. So this is going to create for us a cool LinkedIn post we can check out to see what that looks like. So let's see what the actual article was that we're going to be turning into this. Musk calls Trump advisor moron and quarrel over Tesla. What we could also do is add an AI module in between that says, hey, is this something that we want to write an article about? Yes or no? If so, bring it over. The other way that we could do this is actually bring all of this information into a spreadsheet where we go through and we say, yes, that looks good news, that's good news, that's good news, that's good news. So for example, we could add in an Airtable here after the RSS feed, and then we just review it regularly, and then we just tick yes or no, and then that will download for us automatically, so that we get to decide which articles we want to create content on, right? So come down, let's have a quick look at some of the details of what it's done. Where is the choices? Message, content, long string. Elon Musk just called one of Trump's top advisors a moron after a heated exchange over tariffs and Tesla. Peter claimed blah, 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 ouch. All this instant goes down this, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to hear your take, drop your thoughts below. Boom. And if you wanted to post this directly to LinkedIn, you could do that, right? Come down and you could just create a user text post or user image post. We could create an image with Midjourney that describes that. There's so many different ways that we could physically do this. An interesting one here is you could have it added to Airtable, like I say, and just review everything. So that's how you get a simple RSS feed down to posts, and you would simply just say, hey, every X amount of minutes I want this to run. If not, you can just add them, just like we've done in every other previous automation, add that to a spreadsheet for you to check out. So for example, if I had Airtable, I could create a record. I could go over to the beautiful, let's just go over to airtable.com. Like so, give that a hot second. All right, cool, create, start from scratch. Here, for example, I could have an article name, article title, right? And here I could have the actual LinkedIn post, all right? And then here I could have status, right? And here it could simply be, we would just come down to single select, and we would say posted, not, or like no. Something really simple like that, right? And then if I call this one here LinkedIn RSS, it's gonna be really easy and simple. And I come back, oops. And I come back over here, for example, in the base, I could just go for LinkedIn, oops, just refresh these. Look, LinkedIn RSS, that's really cool, right? Give that a hot sec. Table is going to be table 1, and then we can pin together all of the data. Article title, again, I'll bring this over just so you can see properly. Article title is going to be this guy. LinkedIn post, the one created by AI, to see if we like it or not. And again, we can just do this as we want to. Click on save, come back over. I can run this entire thing. And then guys, what we could do is simply live them over here, and it will appear for us automatically. And then we can create a second scenario that basically triggers off and says, hey, when this status is posted or post, for example, grab it and post it to LinkedIn directly, right? So check this out. I'll come back over. It's now creating it for us. I'm gonna name this one RSS to LinkedIn. Beautiful. And we'll just get this one saved, and we can download this one as well. Boom. And that has completed. So if I head over to LinkedIn, beautiful. And just like that, guys, we've got the entire post. There's appeared here, which is flipping awesome. And it's laid out everything for us, which is pretty freaking sweet. So now that's done, guys, I want to go on to the next part, which is going to be how we can actually get, let's say, 50 different Instagram reels from one single point of contact. And we're going to use Canva for that. We're going to batch create it so we can get 50 things running out on autopilot for us. So how do we do that? Well, let's say, for example, we have a podcast, right? And let's say that I like the look of this one. Brutally honest truths that give you an unfair advantage in life. Let's right click on it. Let's copy the clean link. Then what we're going to do is we're going to head over to this website here, which is Tactic, which gives us a free YouTube transcript. You can obviously automate that, just like I showed you earlier in the video. We get downloaded as an RSS feed, and then you can just get the transcript automatically. Now I'm going to come down. I'm going to copy the transcript. Beautiful. Then what do? I'm going to head over to Claude, and I'm going to say, hey, based on this transcript, write me 50 quotes no longer than, let's just say, I don't know, 30 characters of advice. Okay, do this in a table. In the second column, excuse me, again, emotional thinking about it, write a brief Instagram caption. And then there is all of the thing. Bam. Right, next thing I want to do is go over to make.com whilst that's working in the background. Cool. Now the first thing I want to do here, guys, is what's called an increment function, and that'll make sense why. So look, every time I run this, it'll pop out a number 1. I run it again, then we get number 2, and that's going to be relevant because we're going to take this data and put it into Airtable. So if I'm in Airtable now, I could say, hey, this is going to be the quote, and then this, yes, that's cool. And then here is going to be the caption. And we're going to need the caption to post this onto Instagram. Phenomenal. All right, cool. So let's go back over to Claude and look at this. Pain is progress, happy but not satisfied. Actually, let's just say make the quotes up to, I don't know, 90 characters. Because I think that's a little bit too short in my opinion. Mountains behind mountains. It doesn't even make any sense, does it? Okay, so let's actually make these longer so we can actually physically use them. Beautiful, guys. This looks better. Pain is the price of progress. The fastest growth periods are often the most miserable. Do you know what, guys? I like it. So I'm going to copy all of this data. Oh, it's still compiling for us. Can I just copy this? Okay, give this a hot second. So we're going to get 50 and we're going to turn them into reels. The meta on Instagram moment is that like reels are like 4 or 5 seconds long that you just keep on reading are really, really cool. So we've got all this stuff. Let's copy it. Let's head over to our Airtable and we're going to paste them all in and we'll expand the table and then bam, we should get it all come down there. No, it's all gone into one thing, which is fine. So let's come back and let's just copy it directly. All right, let's hopefully this will just pick up on everything that we need. All right, cool. So what I'm going to say to it is just separate these out. So give me an output with just the quotes, please. Cool, that's producing. Now give me a table with just the corresponding captions. Actually, guys, I'm just going to change these to be in a list. Actually, put them in a list. No numbers. Naked text. Okay, guys, so basically I think all you got to do is put them in with no spaces in between so you can copy them over perfectly, which is really funny. Okay, cool. So we can finally get this information and then create the beautiful thing on Canva. Ace, so we come over, we copy, we go back over then to this document and then all the quotes should appear beautifully. Phenomenal. And then we just say, hey, same thing with the captions. Actually, I'll say corresponding. Beautiful. And then it should do the exact same thing for us to bring over. And then we can do our scenario. So what are we going to do? The other thing we want to add into our scenario, guys, is I'm going to insert one to insert right. And we'll go for long text. Actually, I'm just going to do for, yeah, single line text is fine here, guys. Bring this one over. Okay, that's fine. Change primary field. And this is just going to be number. Actually, I think there's something that we can do, which is simply number. There you go. That should just give us a number for everything. There we go. Cool. Beautiful. And then we've got captions. And we're doing that, guys, because that's going to trigger off the beautiful scenario. So we come over to this, copy these, come back over to our Canva quote here, and paste it all in, and bam, there's everything. Sweet. Okay, this is actually shaping up to be really nice now. Okay, cool. So what we do next is we come back over to our beautiful integration. And what I kind of want it to do, what we need to do actually, is we've got this information. We're going to download it as a CSV. So if I come over to here and I say, hey, do me the quotes to download as a CSV. And then we can just give all the quotes that we got here very quickly. Cool, so we download it by clicking this button here. And then guys, we're gonna head over to Canva. Now you can design this any way you want to. I've made it like 2.5 seconds long, so we've got lots of repeats. You're gonna come down on the bottom left to bulk create, okay? And then you're gonna upload data like so. In fact guys, if it doesn't download as a CSV for you, you can enter data manually. Come over to the Canva quotes, just copy it actually, and just bring it straight over. It just depends on whatever's easier for you. So if I just enter all this stuff in, there you go, bam. And then you could add in anything else you wanted to. So click that, then click done. So that should be ready to rock and roll, which is what we like to see. Now check this out. This is Instagram capture, right? Now look, if I click on continue, it's now gonna completely change everything. If I create design, it's gonna completely cascade this now and give me everything I possibly need. Pain is the price of progress. The fastest growth period is the most uncomfortable. Be happy, but not satisfied. And look guys, every single one is completely different. So you just batch created 50 quotes from Hormozy's podcast. So I'll call this one Hormozy Canva, just for easy reference. Then what we do is we go back over to our make scenario, and then effectively we're gonna use the Canva module. We're going to show more, and we are going to go for export a design. Folder ID, mine is just completely crazy. So if I just type in, let's refresh this one real quick. Okay, we just add a new connection. Yeah, my Canva connection. We should just have to sign in and we're ready to go. Beautiful. Then folder ID. So we're just going to go for generic one because it's fine. That's it, okay? And then we should have to just pick and select the particular file. Design ID is Hormozy Canva. Type is going to be MP4. Quality, just go for 720, even 1080p, whatever you want really. And a page is just going to be the output from this guy here, okay? Beautiful. Now that's done, what next? I'm basically just going to straight to Instagram. So come down here, I can type in Instagram. Let's not Instagram for business. We want, let's have a look here, show more. Okay, create a reel post like so. Bring this one over. Video URL. So we just first of all run this scenario once so we can download it. And Canva's going to grab our beautiful reel for us to kick some butt. This is cool, exporting it in slow motion. Actually, the next thing we're then going to want to do is to grab the, let's have a look. They get file URL, that's just file download, that's awesome. And then we want to grab Airtable too, so type in Airtable. We are going to go for search records. Let's have a look. Base is going to be, what did we call this base? It's Canva quotes, right? Phenomenal. Cool, table is going to be table 1. Sort, no, don't worry about that. I'm only really interested in the number, quotes, captions, that's fine. And then we want to give it a little bit of a formula. All right, so I believe it's just simply this, which is going to be number, okay, equals, and then whatever this is, all right? So if a limit's going to be 1, obviously, because we only want 1 quote. So if I do this, and if I come out and I just run this module, and I just say, okay, pull me quote 5, and then it says, hey, output fields, let's have a quick look. Now guys, in the Airtable itself, we're gonna have this quote, which is number equals, and then we're gonna add in this guy here, which is gonna be the incremental function. And then in our Airtable, we just need to add all these guys in, which I'll just do very quickly. I think I can just copy all these guys actually. Okay, so just type in numbers 1 through to 50 here. I come back over then to our beautiful scenario. I think we are then ready to rock and roll. So the video URL is going to be the one that we got from Canva. So let's come down here and find that. File URL is there. And then it hasn't yet got the records. But if I come down, it should be captions there. Oops. There's going to be captions. Of course, you can do cover frames, whatever you like to, or just take a screenshot. You can edit that afterwards. So then if I come over and I run this entire automation from scratch, it should work beautifully. So run scenario. And then guys, you just set this to run incrementally, and then it'll go reel number 1, reel number 2, reel number 3, reel number 4, all the way down until it's completed every single reel that you've got. Meaning you can just schedule 50 posts in one single go. And you can see guys, Canva's brought it down. There's the quote. Focus isn't about adding more. It's about the ruthless elimination of distractions. Hashtag focus wins. And then it's posted for us on Instagram. Beautiful guys. Then finally, the next section in automation number 5 is going to be data. So we're going to look at content performance and then competitive intelligence. So looking at content performance. So I've got this scenario here and I'm going to upload one just in the same way that we've scraped everything else with Apify. We can do the exact same thing with Instagram. So for instance, I can come down here, I can import a blueprint. Okay, so I've updated one here and it's basically going to work exactly the same way as everything else. I've got an Airtable that basically has all the, for example, let's say I want to understand what content is going viral on Instagram for my niche, right? All I basically do is I come down, I've got this Airtable. So for example, I've got this Instagram scraper that has lots of different accounts that do AI content. And basically what I do in this scenario here is I come over, I grabs a record from that. So for example, it will grab these 5 accounts, okay? And ultimately what it'll then do guys, ultimately is output something like this that has every account, the video, if you just want to check it out and watch it like this, I can say, hey, well, what's this person done? They've got 1,322 likes. Let's check it out. Let's have a look if it'll let me do it.
A free alternative to ChatGPT's $200.
Beautiful, right? Very, very cool. And what's the transcript? Downloads the entire transcript for us. Perplexity just released a free alternative to ChatGPT's blah, blah, blah. Very simple. How many likes, how many views, how many comments, again, captions, created dates, all this other really stuff, as well as captions. So I can actually look through this and say, this is really cool. What if, I don't know, I want to see what the highest performing ones are. Okay, this has got 5,569 comments. Cool. What's that about? And then you can go through and check them all out. So in the actual scenario itself, which is record, we again are using, as you can see from NA to N, the exact same process we use for everything else. We insert this information, get the JSON, it downloads it. We then get all the information. Then we're going to download the video. You can download the video, guys. Let me just get rid of this, all this notifications popping up on the right. And all you're going to do is simply download the video that just went through there. And essentially what this code is going to do is convert the video into a format that OpenAI can understand. And then we're going to use the Transcriber module for AI that's going to transcribe the whole thing for us and turn it into information. And when we download this video, guys, what we'll get is all the information, all the likes, all the comments, the hashtags, everything. And then you just simply come onto Airtable and then you update all of these things together for account, the video, the transcript, the likes, the views, the comments, the captions, everything that you could possibly need. I've got the full transcript for this in the community on the Instagram scraper. You can just basically download it. It costs about $1 to do 50 accounts with this stuff. But what it basically means is you can get this beautiful view here every week of what's going live in every single niche. You can do the exact same thing for TikTok as Instagram. So for example, if you go over to the beautiful Appify, one of the things that we can do is I come over to my console real quick. Any account you can imagine, right? I go to the Appify store. I can do, I want TikTok. Okay, sweet. Let's do TikTok. Beautiful. TikTok will appear. TikTok data extractor. So any competitor across any niche, we can go, we can grab, and we can have a look at what content's out there and how you can improve it. Now, the next one I want to look at is going to be a competitive intelligence version of this. So what we can do really interestingly with this one, guys, and we'll build this one together, is let's say that I want to get a summary every week of all of the Google reviews for my competitors in a document so I can say, great, what are the customers saying about what they love about the service and what are they saying about what they dislike about the service? I can also set up Google alerts. So anytime their name is mentioned in the press, I get an email that can come through to an agent, and then that agent can then compile a report for me and say, hey, Magoo Enterprises was mentioned 5 times this week. Here's everything that was said about it. And then we can leverage that to make some really epic stuff. So say, for example, I want to do that. Well, what I would do, first of all, as before, is going to do an Appify scraper. So let's head over to Appify, and let's just do Google reviews. All right, beautiful. So Google Maps review scraper. So what we would do first of all is find the business on Google reviews. So here is the gym I like to go to, which is this cool Ultraflex gym. Here we go. Let's check out the reviews. They have got 4.6118. I think that's pretty cool. All right. So you basically enter as many of your competitors here as you want to. And add in the next one. The next one could be this guy. Blah, blah, blah. All the different gyms and competitors you want to track on Google. Okay. Then number of reviews. We don't need to know that. But what I would want to do is it depends on the frequency, guys, of how often you'd like this report. Maybe you want to get it every 7 days, maybe every 14 days, every month, whatever you recommend. I think if you're going to do meaningful data, I would do 28 days. But just for the purposes of this, I'm going to put in 7. And then all you're going to do, guys, is come over to the JSON. We are very simply going to copy all the JSON. We're going to head over to Claude. We're going to say, hey, create me a curl for this. Appify scraper, and then I'm going to say the scraper is called, and then you come back over to Appify and you just copy this compass.google maps review scraper, boom, enter that in, bam, and then we come back over to our N8N scenario and we're going to click on import curl, come over here, and here's a curl command. This is going to be post. It's very nice how it tells us that sort of stuff. We come back over here and then we enter that in like so, click on import. It's already changed the method to post, and then we enter our API token, and then we're just going to say Ace, now write me a URL curl to download the data once it has finished processing. And then we're going to copy this guy, bring this one over, same thing again, HTTP request, import curl, beautiful. All right, sweet. And then we're going to enter our API tokens, which, if you remember correctly, is located over here under personal, settings, I believe. Yes, and then come over to account and API integrations, and then just copy this guy, then come back over and then enter it into the parameters. Beautiful. And then what we can do is simply run this automation once. And actually, guys, I've just had to change this a little bit. You need to basically make sure you're pulling this HTTP request from the left-hand side, and then token, just enter your API token right here. And just down here where it says API token, it should be duplicative, but why not just include it? We come out, and then let's just pin this data as a, for instance, just to run the module, and then we click on run once for this guy, testing workflow, and it seems to have gotten all the information. So let's have a quick look at what it's delivered. Cool, so this is saying, hey, it didn't get any information. So let's just go back over to Appify. So guys, I think this one didn't work because we set to the last 7 days, and I don't think they've had anything in the last 7 days. So if I do the last 28 days, and test the step of this one. That's cool. And then we can run this scenario next. So what I've done, guys, I've just removed the review start days thing. So let's test this step real quick. Beautiful. It's found the information, and then we can do the second part of the automation. And let's just check that it's running in the background, which it should be. There you go, 4 gigabytes. That's phenomenal. Let's see how that's getting on the run section. And look at this, guys, 118 results. That's pretty flipping cool. So I come back over then to our phenomenal scenario, which is right here. And then what I can do, I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna pin this data, come here and run this one, and then we should get an output with every single review of our competitors, which you can then do with whatever we like. So just out, view, loading the binary data, and there is absolutely everything you could possibly want there. All the JSON, pretty freaking cool. Very, very nice. Then I can say, hey, let's add some code. So I can do some code here. And what I want to do is basically turn all of this beautiful information here into some text that we can deal with. So I can say, hey, write me some code in NA10 to turn this binary data into a JSON output, into a list of reviews with the core data numbered, and we'll give out a little photo, and we can come back and provide a second photo as well, what the JSON looks like. Beautiful. Come back over here. Phenomenal. And then we can hit enter. Beautiful. Double click on the code, and then we just enter this information, and we can test the step. Cool. We just change the syntax. Okay, guys. Beautiful. So we're going to call this one here competitor intelligence. Beautiful. So essentially what this is going to do for us now is, based on that individual business, periodically we can get that to download and run whenever we want it to run. You can do that over here by clicking, I believe it's schedule trigger. So we can come down here, we can set the number of interval of days, how often we'd like it to run. So for instance, this one could be every 7 days, 28 days. There's a video on my YouTube channel, actually, I'll show you very quickly what that looks like. So on my channel, there's a full video on competitive intelligence automation that I really encourage you to check out. And I show you there loads of different ways that you can actually build that. Somebody in my community, Jonathan there, sold $300 a month to 45 clients. I think is over 80 now. There's so many applications with this particular one. But if I come back over here to this automation here, guys, we set the interval instead of clicking workflow here. Come down, beautiful, connect these guys together. This will give you the JSON output for absolutely everything. And with that JSON, we can connect to ChatGPT, we can add coding modules, we can pull it, extract it, and manipulate it in a million different ways, meaning you get the information, and then we could just add a AI sentiment analysis bot to check everything that happens there. And now we've completed all 5 different dimensions for these AI automations. All the blueprints are going to be available in the community with additional support, so you can just plug and play these if you like. But in any case, I hope you have a beautiful week. Watch this video on screen if you want to go another level deeper with AI automations. But in any case, I wish you have a beautiful week, and I'll see you inside the next video.